Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Ciucevich Techman. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Boom, there we go. That is my
what an intro. Awesome.
That is my
Video with that.
old recorded intro there, and my sound may not be perfect. I never really worked it out. I said I was going to work on the studio when I moved up here, and I never did. Not to the extent I wanted to, but we've got a lot I'm going to talk about tonight. Just an overview. I wanted to jump on here and do a live stream because I contacted DigitalCavemann the other day and asked him, had he seen a particular film, and we're going to talk about that as in depth as we can. Spoiler filled, by the way, so spoilers.
Except for the end. I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil the end for people because to me, I like the ending. It sucked, but
I liked the ending.
The ending wasn't fulfilling, but I liked it.
Yep.
Unlike some recent Marvel fare where I didn't like it at all.
I just got to put this out here.
Mostly everything in Phase 4.
Well, what I was going to say about what the film we're going to talk about in a second is it's going to be hard for me not to spoil it, but there's a lot to it.
Well, just don't give the end away.
Gosh. We're live now. Where are we live on? We're live on YouTube.
We're live on YouTube.
Geek Homeworld. I'm just putting this out on my social media because my social media person quit. Actually, there isn't one. It's me. It's always been me.
Yes, I have that same issue. My social media person doesn't like social media.
Your social media person doesn't like. We're live now on. I can't stand to send stuff out in fragments. It has to be grammatically correct. We're live now on YouTube at Geek Homeworld. Join us now.
Oh, but the kids don't get it that way, man.
I know. ROLF or what are those things are.
WTH.
Exactly. All right, cool. Anyway, so the movie we're going to talk about is Leave the World Behind. And as soon as I saw it, I got on the phone and I texted you or called you or something like that. Because, who calls anymore, right? But
yeah.
And I was like...
No, I think you did call me, actually.
I was like, I can't wait for him to respond to a text. That takes too long. That's like a half a second. So I'm like, I got to call his butt. And so I called you and I was like, did you see this film? And it's probably one of the best things I've seen in all year. And
I will say this: it's the best thing I've seen on Netflix in a long time.
God knows. And
I don't spend a lot of time on Netflix.
The time I spend on Netflix is looking at the things from years ago that I have in my queue that I swore I'd get to.
I think the last movie I watched on Netflix was maybe about 2 months ago, and I watched The Extraction
Extraction was good. No, I didn't see the second one, which I wanted to see.
I haven't watched the second one yet. It was okay.
It's probably formulaic. It's with Hemsworth, right?
Yeah, it's Hemsworth.
Yeah, the first one, I dug the first one.
Chris, not the other one.
Right. One of the Chris's. But anyway, we're going to talk about Leave the World Behind. Some of the conspiracies that are out there, if you want to go down that rabbit hole. We're going to talk about podcasting in general. We're just, I ran into somebody when I moved up here after February. We moved up here to Augusta, up here in our international studios and our palatial international studios. Yes. And, so I ran into somebody at dinner and I told Caveman this story before, a guy that listened to him and I way back from 2008 when he was a kid. He was probably a teenager or something. I don't know. Maybe less than that. I don't know. Maybe more, maybe less.
Yeah, probably in that 13-year-old
yeah
age group.
Our demographic was older than that, but we did have some people because we were in the gaming a lot then, so we had a lot younger people listening as well. But
Yes.
Anyway, he wasn't BSing me. You know, when I quizzed him on some things, he kind of knew. I've realized he knew what he was talking about, and he was actually a fan of mine. And he streams on Twitch and all that. And I'm not going to give his name away because we haven't reconnected since then. Because you know everybody's all about I'll talk to you this and that, but you know. Life happens.
Let's do lunch. My people will set it up.
Yeah, let's do lunch, and it didn't happen. But it's neither here nor there. But anyway, so yeah, he was telling me how he just loved how our conversational nature, which we used to go way overboard with it, but of our podcast.
We did actually have, I won't say a script, but we did have an outline. We never.
And keeping me on target.
Now.
Keeping me on target was the hard part.
Oh, that's like Gold Leader being on target.
That's right. Stay on target. But anywho, we
it's no good. It's just
no good.
Impacted into the surface.
Yep. Story of my life. Anyway, I don't know. But we used to have a lot of good times just kicking back and talking about stuff. And we had one episode, our diabetes episode, where we just laughed, I think, through the entire thing.
Probably.
And if you want to hear some of that debauchery or whatever that I'm sure is cancelable these days, because, you know, you can't breathe or have an opinion without being canceled.
It had the word man in the title.
Oh, well, there you go. What did South Park say? keep not Kathleen Kennedy away from me. And blah, blah, blah. I won't say the rest because I don't want to offend anybody. But anyhow, I got a light. How many lights are there?
There are
four lights. That's a great episode. God.
That is a great episode.
But maybe we could talk about some of the good sci-fi we had this year.
I want to say, was that in the 5th season or 6th season? It's TNG.
If you asked me 10 years ago, I could have told you exactly what day it came out.
I want to say that was 5th season, and those 2 episodes
I feel like it was
some of the best episodes in that entire season.
Was that the year? Because I always, the one where he played the flute. Is it Thine Own Self? No. What was that?
That was, I think that was the same season.
Because if so, that was a killer freaking season.
We all know, like seasons 3, 4, and 5. You know, those are the best.
They were coming into their own. Some of the in the entirety. Some of the first episodes were hard to watch.
Yeah, season 6 and 7 were a little. I don't know. Maybe the writers were getting tired of it, but
yeah, you kind of get.
To me, there weren't as many standout episodes.
Yeah, because
that was also back in the day, kids, when we had 24 to 26 episodes a season for a television.
Right, and it was good quality stuff. You didn't really have many fillers, And if you missed it,
I ain't gonna say that. But,
well, if you missed it, you had to wait till the summer for reruns. You didn't get the show immediately. You couldn't go and look it up 24 hours later online.
Oh, no.
You had to wait.
You had to record that crap on VHS.
And hope your tape did not mess up.
Yes.
Because how many tapes now? Come on, how many tapes did you buy that you had to record over trying to save tape? And how many seasons?
Oh man, I used to record it It came on in our local area at the time. It came on at 7:00 on Saturdays. And, I was at the point that on Saturday night, I was out doing stuff. So I had, my VCR was set up to record it on the timer and pray that the football games, during football season didn't run over. The college games didn't run over.
Yeah, that's true.
And your recording messed up. So I always set it to start a little early and end a little late, just in case, because I did have that happen to me a couple of times where the football games run over and I didn't get to catch the end of the show. But thank goodness it wasn't like Best of Both Worlds. part 1 and 2. That was not one that
to wait.
Angry.
Very angry when you had to wait the summer till the fall.
Well, you know, when part 1 came on, I was already angry. I had to wait the whole summer to find out what happens to Captain Picard. Got turned into Locutus. Oh my God, is Riker really the captain now?
I know.
Picard? I
could not stand Shelby. Even when she came back, they redeemed her, but I wanted to snap her back so hard she thought she was a first-year cadet. Like Riker. Oh my God.
She was definitely ambitious.
I've had managers like that, haven't we all? People you're like,
ambition actually outstripped their talent.
Yeah.
But at least in the case of Shelby, she actually did know her stuff.
I have proof that I'm getting old. I put this is an actual post I put on Facebook 10 hours ago. I never knew how proud I would be as a father. My puppy, who held his pee and poop for hours due to the stormy and cold conditions, finally dogged up and braved the elements by doing both. Such a good boy. #Barkley. #Barkley's dad. I'm a proud father of a black lab mix. I don't know what his dad was.
Very pretty dog. He's brindled.
He's brindled, yeah. He's an awesome.
Y'all can actually follow.
Yes.
His puppy on Instagram.
Lieutenant Barkley, the Lieutenant Barkley, on Instagram, and he loves to post. He's he's a very photogenic dog. He's doing the thing with the leg because he has these long legs, and he puts his leg on the chair, and it looks like he's posing. Sometimes you'll call his name and he'll just freeze for a minute and pose. I'm like, he's photographic. I like that. So, I don't know. We've had people that wanted us to, as soon as he had an Instagram, wanted us to partner with them and probably get monetized. I could be a millionaire right now, but
oh yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
All that monetization from ads and stuff, really, yeah. Oh,
it's all changing, and it
happens instantly.
Yeah, it all happens instantly, overnight. Yeah.
And my overnight's been, I'm going into my 3rd overnight year, so.
Well, I'm putting you on the spot because that makes me think of this, talking about merchandise sales. How's your merch sales?
I have some, but I haven't sold any.
Yeah. Well, because I listen to Dave Jackson, and I'm actually friends with him on Facebook. And Daniel J. Lewis, I listen to him as well. They're good friends and good podcasters, and some people I've learned from over the years. And Dave Jackson has he's in the Hall of Fame for podcasters and all that, and very well known. And you won't find a lot his you won't find his podcast like #1 ranked here or there. It's not necessarily like that, but he has a good following, and he goes and he makes a living off of speaking about podcasting and monetizing. That's not the main focus, but he talked recently on his show. He does Saturday mornings, and he talked about merchandise, and him and his co-host who were talking about merchandising and podcasting, and he wasn't really keen on that. He's like, I sell shirts, he was saying, but he's like, I don't really promote it. And he's like, he's like, people don't really want your shirts unless, you become a thing, and it's just kind of fickle,
unless you have like some kind of crazy meme that goes viral. Right.
On
a shirt.
If all of a sudden you're Barbenheimer podcast or something, then it's something. But, other than that,
I think part of the issue is that it's on Teespring. And the shipping there is kind of high.
That's something he said. He's like, almost the price you pay for the shirts. The shipping is a big chunk of that. And then I think something, if I didn't catch the whole conversation, because it was a fascinating conversation, and you can listen to it on YouTube. Dave Jackson, check him out. But he said it's what you pay on the back end to, I guess, Teespring or whoever it is, the company, the shirt company. That's, and maybe it doesn't balance out as much. You have to sell X amount, you might have shipping that might be $5 for a shirt that's, or, whatever, pennies to make, but it's $5 to ship out or whatever.
For me, that's why I'm not wearing one of my shirts, now when I do lives and all that on my channel too, is because the shipping it's ridiculous. So
so you haven't even ordered your own shirts?
Yeah, I haven't even ordered my own shirt. So
how do you expect me to buy it if you haven't?
So I don't know. I'm going to check maybe on Amazon. They have some print on demand type stuff. So I'm going to look into that and see what I can find there.
Yeah, you can educate me that when, a year from now, because this is part of the plans we're going to talk about in a little bit, but what I'm wanting to do with the podcast, but, by then I'll be monetized. I'll have 1 million followers by September of 2024.
Oh, yes, of course.
And, it'll be my primary job will be podcasting. And in my 16th year, I'll be an overnight success, right? And so, but,
quit your day job. That's all I can say. For anybody that's looking into getting into this kind of stuff, yeah, it's a long process unless you are super duper lucky.
Yeah, and I'm going to be
something. You hit something quickly before anybody else hits it. The future trend. You know what's coming, and you hit it first before everybody else. Yeah, you might get lucky that way, but it's not. There's no instant success.
There isn't
to this.
And if we say it's about positive thinking and that it is, I'm going to put it out there to the universe and challenge the universe by saying it is impossible to be an overnight success. Boom. Okay. Now
I won't say it's
by
impossible.
Tomorrow I expect to be an overnight success.
It's it's that 99.999% chance that you are not going to be.
Excuse me, but I think my math's not good, but that sounds like a bad percentage there. 99.9.
Yes, never tell you the odds, right?
Well, I was going to say, and this is a math-free zone.
It's a bazillion to one.
How dare you come as a guest host here on my podcast and you bring math into the equation?
Yes.
Equation.
Well, look, you said equation.
I did. Oh, God.
That's even worse than just math.
That is worse.
Trying to equate brand it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So there's, with the merchandising, and podcasting, it's almost a secondary thing. If that's your primary thing, no, that's not why you're there. Start a clothing brand and just go with that, Have a podcast about your clothing brand then, in that case.
Yes. Yeah, that might actually work better, but,
yeah.
And at this point, I'm just riding the wave, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, what is that? Is that your shoes?
I have some guests that showed up for Christmas.
Oh.
Hey, what's up? All right, they're just going to hang out. No, I guess not. Well.
No.
And Vader's got to show up.
Ah, yes.
It's my Christmas stockings. I'm getting all the stuff hung for...
Oh, I still got
Saint
to get mine out the attic.
Yeah. But,
we hadn't even gotten the Christmas tree up yet.
Oh, my gosh. Scrooge or Grinch or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I'm so bad.
Yeah, I finally got mine up. It was a lot of work. It was more work than I thought. By getting it up, I meant I went to the store and bought one.
Oh, Lord, dude. I saw this thing on YouTube the other day. It was like, okay, so... It's on wheels, right? It's a tree. It's on wheels, and it's in two parts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the bottom part of the tree is on wheels. So you store it in your garage or wherever you store it at, so that you don't have to load it and unload it and all that stuff. So anyway, you roll it to where you're going to set the tree up. You unbag it. Then you take the other half of the tree and you plug it in to the bottom half of the tree.
Okay.
And then you get the remote control and you hit the button on the remote control and the damn thing unfolds.
Lazy bastard.
I want a
tree like that.
I ain't gonna lie. The only thing that would be better than that is a completely disposable Christmas tree.
Or how about one that just completely decomposes, but ecologically safely safe.
The ornaments and everything. You just pull it out the box. It's all ready to go. When you get done with it,
you just get a drip of water to it, and it goes.
Throw it in the trash, and it only costs you $20. And that would be a great tree too. Maybe not for people who are
Well, I was upset because
and stuff,
I pride myself on having this one remote control, and when we moved, I made sure if nothing else made it to the house, that remote control made it to the new house.
And you lost it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
And I'm Clark W. Griswold. I got all my lights hooked up, 400,000 lights, all decorated. My expertise, so it's something to be had. It's loud, and and
drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
I said drum roll.
There's I don't know. I probably got sounds on here somewhere. So I went to push the button and it's working, but found out that I broke something last Christmas on it, and it's not quite working. So I have to manually turn it on. So it kind of defeats the purpose of turning on the junction box or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everything plugs into it. So I got to get one of those before Christmas, or order one for next year or something and have it. Because when I could turn my lights on and off at will from inside the house, that's power that you just can't understand. That's ruling the world.
I had a remote control one year, and a lot of times I would forget to turn it on, or I forget to turn it off. So I just got timers.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Timers are good.
I think the last one I bought was a timer with a remote control, so that you could do either or.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. But for me, I'm getting older. Whatever's easiest. If it's too much trouble, like there's some other lights I want to put up, like on our columns that we have in the front of the house, and I'm just like, that looks like a lot of work. I could be sitting on the couch.
Here's the thing, though, man. If it's a lot of work and you only have to do it once, and you don't have to put them down and take them, put them up and take them down every year, and you just leave them up there.
Oh no,
that's different than if you have to,
no, not in my neighborhood. We'll get a citation for that. I'm sure.
HOAs.
We got a freaking HOA. They'll come and God knows what they'll do. If a blade of grass is out the way, I'd moved in and had.
They will Will Smith slap you.
They sent me an ugly ass email. And like, cut your grass. And it was like when we moved in, it was like February. It was like, grass has just started growing. Okay. We're in the South. We had our 6 months or 6 weeks of winter. And so,
and
at that point, it was about over with. And then I hadn't even got my lawnmower yet. And I wasn't even in here 6 weeks. And they were like, cut your grass. And I'm like, sent me an email and a nasty letter. And I'm like, good God. HOA.
Yeah, I used to get nasty grams when I lived in Savannah.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And, and it was sometimes it was just over stupid stuff. Oh, you park your truck in the street in front of you. Oh, okay, everybody on my street parked in the street in front of their house.
When we lived in Savannah, I would see people on the Facebook page that would talk about that. Yeah, and
because
our HOA before,
because I worked weird hours. I think at the time I was working overnight.
Oh God, yeah.
So every time that they would come by and check during that period. Yeah, the truck was parked there. It looked like it hadn't been moved because I parked it in the same spot every single time. And, that way my wife could park in the driveway and get in and out without having to
wake you up to move your car. Yeah.
Yeah. Because my truck was a stick shift and she couldn't drive a stick shift. So, and, that was one thing. Sometimes they come by, oh, your grass isn't cut perfectly edged to the curb. And, I'm just like, up.
Shut up already. Yeah.
I even had, one of them come by my house and stop one time. Well, I got the equipment if you want to buy. I was like, I'll do it when I get around to it.
I don't know. HOAs are crazy that way.
I'll do it when. So I made sure when we moved out of there, the next place that we went, I made sure, is there a HOA? Yes. Well, you can take that one off the list.
Yeah.
When we were looking for a house. So.
Yeah.
I ain't dealing with that crap again.
They serve some uses, but sometimes they're more annoyances, and
It's more of an annoyance. To me, it's more of an annoyance. I understand what the purpose was when they were originally created. Was, you know, they want to keep neighborhoods looking nice, so that you know, the resale value doesn't get, the property values don't go down. But you know what? I let my property value go down. I mean, my taxes will go down.
Yeah, because nothing's going down.
I ain't worried about it unless I'm getting ready to sell.
Yeah, true. But yeah. So
anyway, we were going to talk about
I got on cutting
the
grass.
world behind.
Yeah, that's what we're getting.
This is the kind of thing that he was talking about earlier. We get off topic.
Because I didn't plan this out. This is a stream of consciousness. Or no consciousness. I don't know.
Something.
It's a stream of something, all right. Yeah. So let's see. I wonder if I could share my screen. Maybe I can. I hadn't figured that out.
Down there where it says present.
Present. Okay. It's good to have my tech support in house here. So let's see. Present slides, present extra camera. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Video file, share screen. Sharing screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Sharing screen works best on a good computer.
You didn't even put a description for this video.
Where? Where? Yeah, I did.
Where?
Hold
I don't
on.
see it.
Cancel. Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome to the Geek Homeworld podcast. I have it over here on my tickers.
You'll have to do that on the back end, man.
All right. And we got DigitalCavemann and DigitalCavemann Presents.
I'm talking about the YouTube description for the video. There's nothing there.
Oh, I'll have to do that later. I don't usually do that ahead of... I didn't know you could do that on...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they did. Yeah, I did see that.
You can.
Who am I showing? Let's see. What am I showing now? Your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon. What the hell?
Oh, Lord.
Why is it blocking the screen? Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. The hell? There's nothing in my... What the hell are they talking about? Oh, by the way, welcome to Geek Homeworld episode 165 live stream. I don't know. I'll come up with some name. I'll do all that on the back end.
Yeah, that's you have to do it now on the back end.
Well, there you go. Subscribe to Geek Homeworld at youtube.com.
Like, share, subscribe, ding the
/
bell.
at Geek Homeworld 4248 because I don't have enough followers yet.
Especially if you like more impromptu
crap. I mean, content. That's what we're calling it. You want to like, share, subscribe, ding that bell, all that stuff. That's what it says.
All that stuff.
I'm only saying that because that's what I put on the bottom of the screen. Anyway, so okay, you're there. I can hide that one. How about that?
So you don't do it enough anymore because man, like my outro, it's memorized, and unless when I'm
mine is too.
Unless something throws me off, and occasionally that happens because I do all my filming on my phone. So if somebody texts me or something and it pops up on the screen, I'm like, dang it.
All right.
Now I got to redo it all again.
Can you see that now? I'm sharing my screen.
That now.
View tab, StreamYard.com. Sharing this video tab, okay, that's fine. View tab. Oh, I can see it now. It says I can view the tab. I can view that now. I can actually see what I'm doing. Wait a minute, I'm on there twice. Am I showing that? Does everything look fine?
I see like part of the trailer for Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, it's on there. Okay. Well, I have to scroll through it. I'm going to scroll through the page.
Scroll down some. There you go.
All right, so this is the film.
Are you sure this won't get you
I don't care. I'm not monetized. I'm not going to be. It's never going to happen. I dare y'all to get me monetized. I dare all of you to subscribe, please, and get me monetized this year. In fact, this week. Let's blow up. Anyway, Leave the World Behind. This is from imdb.com, okay? Because where else are you going to get the information? The film stars Julia Roberts, Mahershala. I can never say his name right. Mahershala.
We'll just call him Mr. Ali.
We'll just call him Blade, hopefully, whenever Marvel gets off their butt and makes that movie. Ethan Hawke, who's fantastic, who was in, what's the Marvel show I loved? The second best one they did next to Vision. What's Scarlet Witch and Vision? What was that called? The first one they did.
You're talking about
WandaVision. That was the best they did. The next one, best they did had Oscar Isaac.
Moon Knight?
Moon Knight.
Oh, that's right. He was in Moon Knight. That's right. He was the bad guy in Moon Knight.
Yep.
That's right.
He was the good guy and the bad guy. Oh, but Ethan Hawke was the bad guy. Yes, you're right. And Mahalia, that's the daughter in the film. But anyway, this premiered December 8th on Netflix. Leave the World Behind. And, well, this kind of gives it away. I got to call spoilers on this. So, whether it spoils the last scene or not, we're not going to say exactly what happens in that last scene because you see in the distance. You know what I'm talking about, Caveman, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to say what that is, but we're going to have to say what happens in the film. So if you haven't seen it, according to IMDb...
Pause the live stream, go watch it, and then come back.
You're never going to come back to the live stream. You'll see it later on YouTube. So don't lie to me. I can't take the rejection. But anyway, Leave the World Behind. It's a family's getaway to a luxurious rental home takes an ominous turn when a cyber attack knocks out their devices and two strangers appear at their door. Dun, dun, dun. The director of this is Sam Ismail, who brilliantly directed Mr. Robot, and he is like a deep thinker, way out there kind of dude. And he's also a co-writer on this. And this is from the production company, and don't let the politics of it, no matter what you believe, don't let the politics get in the way of you watching the film, because Caveman will tell you,
when it comes to politics, we try not to discuss it too much because we're on different sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So to speak, and
I'm not so far on one side of the fence that I can't see the other.
Way out there, but
right, yeah. I'm close enough to the center that I can see the other side. And Caveman's not too far from there on his side, but
I can see the other side. A lot of time I don't like it still, but anyway.
Yeah,
that's for a different type of podcast.
I preface saying all that by the fact that Barack and Michelle Obama's production company produced this film, and I heard that Barack inserted himself into the writing process. I mean, he doesn't get credit for it, but he gave them ideas. He wanted to make it as realistic as possible. And basically, this film talks about what-if scenarios. So if you have not seen, last chance, if you have not seen Leave the World Behind on Netflix, come back later after you watch it. Go to Geek Homeworld on YouTube, and you can watch us talk about the live stream here and all that. But if you have seen it, we want to hear your comments on it, because it's really a very deep thinking. It really it's as important, almost as important as probably the impact of The Day After. Remember growing up watching The Day After with nuclear war and all that, and that scared the hell out of us as kids.
That was what was it? The NBC
like miniseries or something.
Miniseries.
Oh my gosh, that scared the hell out of us. We thought,
remember the mutant roaches?
God, I guess that's where they got that for.
Like piranhas or whatever.
Fallout 76. That's probably where they got it from, right?
the flesh eating mutated cockroaches.
Okay, you're grossing me out now.
That would swarm. They swarmed a dude and ate him down to the bone in like a minute or something. They were like land piranha.
Okay. I don't want to talk about that.
Come on, you don't remember that, man?
I've forgotten it. I blocked it out. But thank you for my nightmares I will have tonight. I appreciate that.
That was one of the few scenes I remember from that movie. It's stuck with me all these years.
Yeah, it's you're not the only one that it's stuck with, and So looking at what it says about that, I mean, we have. So Barack put his authenticity of how he views these what if possible events that are kind of there's more than one scenario that's thrown in this film, and it reminds me of Signs with Mel Gibson in a way, you know, the M. Night Shyamalan film, which is because you don't. There's a lot you don't know.
You don't really know what's going on, and it never definitively tells you in the movie what's going on, which, you know, and really up until through most of, like you were talking about Signs, comparing it to Signs, you really didn't know exactly what was going on until the end of the movie. But in this one, you never truly, it never really says what is going on. So I don't know, maybe the end of it kind of sets it up for maybe a sequel. So
I mean, we'll see. I mean,
I don't think so. I think they're just going. I think they're going to leave it just like it is.
Now, this may be totally unrelated. I could be 120% incorrect on this. So, there was a trailer that dropped for a movie that's coming out next year. I don't know if it's just a streaming film or if it's coming to theaters, and it's called Civil War. And so, I heard, which I thought, you know how you hear things, but you don't via the internet, but you don't really look at them. And right. I heard that this might be a sequel to it.
Just move on.
Yeah, I should probably not even mention it, but this could be, intended or not, a sequel to this, possibly. You know, a civil war in this country and in this other movie. So, I don't know. That's a possibility. I don't know if the two projects are related at all. It may not be related. It probably isn't. But anyway, so anyway, Leave the World Behind. It came out and it became a bit of a sensation. And the way I came to it, I listen, but I listen with a grain of salt. I try to listen to stuff on different spectrums. You know, when you're on YouTube, you can fall down a rabbit hole. You know, it'll suggest something to you.
Never get out.
I found myself recently falling asleep with YouTube on, and I wake up in the morning, and God knows what's even playing on there. So if you looked at my history, you're like, what?
You know what? I tell you what ought to be playing, because you ought to be putting it on Digital Caveman Presents when you go to sleep and get me some watch hours, pal.
So let's say that I was wanting to listen to Digital Caveman Presents. Where would I go exactly, do you say?
Oh, you would go to youtube.com/@DigitalCavemann with a capital D and 2 N's at the end. That's where you would go. So, you know, if you guys don't have anything better to do, you can put it on there. If you just need some background noise, just put it on there, let it run. I don't care.
So what about
get the hours in there, man?
Instagram? Where would that be?
That would be Instagram. You just search @DigitalCavemann, spelled the same way, only with a lowercase d.
Well,
on Instagram. I'm also on Threads.
Oh.
Same @DigitalCavemann on Threads as well. The new Twitter, I guess.
Dude, I was so hyped for Threads when it came out. I bought into all that. I did one tweet and just secured one of my names or whatever on there just to have it. And I've never tweeted on, or whatever you call it. I'm sorry, it's tweeting.
You never threaded?
I never threaded.
Is that what I don't even know what they're calling it.
I don't know.
I posted.
And I'm sorry, but X is still Twitter to me. It's still going to be tweets, and it's still a landmine of garbage, usually. It's where all that hatred goes and breeds.
I think Threads is getting there. Because every time I see, like, you know, you scroll through Instagram and you'll see, oh, well, these threads are recommended to you. And they'll say, so-and-so started following you. It's not. The post says started following you. And the person actually did. It's just that's what they posted, started following you.
Oh, really?
And, you know, usually it's
kind of clickbaity.
These, you know, attractive women who want you to come check out their whatchamajiggy page.
Oh, have you seen the new AI ones? I've seen one. It was an Asian lady, and I just happened to be in someone's podcast thing and responding to something they put on Facebook, and I just happened to see the same message on Twitter or X or whatever, in another feed or something that came across my feed. Like stuff pops up on there and people follow me and I don't know who they are. And no one ever interacts with me on Twitter or X. And, it's, I don't even know why I still have it. It's irrelevant to me.
I can't even remember the last time
right.
I posted anything on Twitter.
Yeah. It certainly wouldn't talk politics or anything there because, anyway, so
talking about landmines.
That's where careers go to die and all that. It's just crazy. Lord. People need to get a life. And,
yes, they want you to believe that's Elon Musk has went there to die.
But the thing is, like Threads. Anyway, what I was saying is, so I happened to see that same message in one of these well-known podcasters, and somebody told me, and she's like, "Oh, I just love your content and such. Subscribe to me, such and such." And I'm like, and it almost to the picture and the message was clickbait, whatever you want to call it, AI and whatever it is. I don't know. It was spam, whatever you call it, phishing going on. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can spot that. And like, that's, you just want to stay away from that. And, but it's on all the platforms and it's like, now Threads has become, I don't know if it's left wing, right wing or no wing or whatever it's supposed to be,
I don't spend enough time on there to really tell you, but
it's basically, it's probably, knowing how things are, it's probably the opposite of what Twitter is or has become. I don't know where Twitter stands. It's like Elon Musk, he might be a crazy man to some people, but I still think seems people that have money that are like doing things in the world, seems like he's somebody that's at least trying to make things a little bit better. Now, I don't agree with him on everything he says, though.
I saw a story on Jeff Bezos the other day, like some mountain.
You mean Lex Luthor?
He yeah.
He even looks like it with the no.
He built some like $1 trillion clock in the mountain in Colorado or some crap. I'm like, what?
Why?
Who cares?
If you have all that money, you have a responsibility to humanity
and
to
get
help.
Better working conditions for those Amazon warehouse folks and pay them.
I'm telling you what, if Mr. Beast, here you go, and I'm trying to get clickbait here. If Mr. Beast even happened to watch this video, I would say if I woke up with Elon Musk's money tomorrow, this world would be a much better place because I wouldn't allow some of the things to happen. And how do you say allow? You don't allow anything, but I would probably lose my fortune quicker than anyone because I'd give a lot of it away to help others. I just have enough for me, my family, whatever, my friends, blah, 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 but.
Yeah, well, what happened there? Remember.
You have to give back. You have to help is what I'm getting at.
Years ago, you heard all this stuff about Bill Gates was going to give away most of his money to charity, and George Lucas was going to give away most of his money to charity.
George Lucas gave away our childhoods.
We're going to give away.
George Lucas gave away our childhoods to Disney.
To charity because they quote unquote didn't need it.
Yeah. That was that was tax season, dude. They had to say that.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. But you hear me? George Lucas gave away our childhoods because the fans were such trolls before trolls were a thing, and they made him sell it.
I kind of think, from some of the things that he said since Disney's been producing Star Wars movies and shows, I think he really regrets that he did it through some of the things that he said. One of the things he says is like watching somebody else raise your child and stuff like that. They're doing more than raise the child. They're treating the child improperly. Yeah, they're beating the child, locking them in the basement. Not
exactly. It's like that's what it's more like. And
you Star Wars writer, get in that closet.
But guess what?
You come out till you have a horrible script.
I want you to know something. As soon as Disney puts out something good Star Wars, even something bad, guess what? I'm still going to be there to watch it. I'm not like these people that, live to hate on Disney.
How many times did you tell me you saw Rise of Skywalker in the theater?
I want to say 5.
Really? You went to see it 5 times? The movie you told me
there wasn't much.
You hated it?
Yes, because even now, okay, think about who you're talking to. Okay, X-Men: The Last Stand, I can still watch to this day and take it for what it is, realizing it's the worst X-Men film.
I can watch it and hate every second of it.
But it's kind of like, The Rise of Skywalker was, oh God, I can't believe I said that, Rise of Skywalker. The Last Jedi, with everything wrong with it, there were a couple things that Rian Johnson did good. The cinematography was top notch. It's a beautiful film. Even to the extent of Luke Skywalker's arc, okay, in that film, even though I very strongly agree they screwed up Luke Skywalker, and all that. I agree with Mark Hamill. Kudos to him for standing up, even though he's just the actor in someone else's, role, story. But even though they screwed up Luke Skywalker, the trajectory of that and Luke Skywalker going out and dissolving into the Force, and all that after using his power that way, with some hindsight, even at the time, I still said this, and I said this way back, I still think that was a beautiful arc for Luke Skywalker, but that wasn't our Luke Skywalker. Like Mark Hamill said, that was more Jake Skywalker. But as a film, it was a beautiful film. And for that, the idea of that and him dissolving into Force is very ethereal. I like that idea, but for Luke Skywalker, it did not work.
I'm gonna say this, okay?
Okay.
When I go to see a Star Wars movie, I'm not looking at the cinematography. Okay.
I'm looking for the technology to be advanced the way George Lucas did it.
That's not to say I don't want it to be cool looking and be nice looking but it's rooted. George Lucas even said many decades ago that a special effect without any story to it is that's all it is. It's just a pretty piece of film. It's not really anything. And I'm paraphrasing a bit. I'm sure he phrased it a little differently than that. But without the story to support it, it's unimportant. And you can have all the beautiful cinematography in the world.
If the story sucks.
But if the story sucks, the story sucks.
The film sucks.
It's not going to be a good film. It doesn't matter how pretty it is.
Like Rise of Skywalker. I was watching a video that just broke that down, and I'm like, God, it really is as bad as we thought.
I never really said that I hated that movie. Now, Last Jedi, I hate. I'm not going to a Star Wars movie for beautiful cinematography and subversion of expectation.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm going to a Star Wars movie for.
Subvert my expectations with Rey. Yes, I wanted Luke Skywalker to come out with his laser sword. I'm sorry, they're called lightsabers, by the way. They're not laser swords. Damn it.
Well, Anakin referred to him as a laser sword.
Well, he was just a whiny Skywalker. You can't really trust a whiny Skywalker. They don't like sand. It's coarse.
I didn't tell you about a thing I saw the other day. It was like, these two people were cosplaying as Padme and Anakin. And then there were two with them that were cosplaying as Han and Leia. And so they were exchanging Christmas gifts, and Leia gives Padme something nice. I don't remember right off what it was, but Han walks up to Anakin and he says, "I got you a present from your home planet." And he hands him a baggie full of sand.
Oh my God! Oh, the one where he gives him a lava lamp. They should Darth Vader looking at a lava lamp.
Yeah,
says,
that was funny too.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to.
Hey, Caveman, I got to ask you a tech question while I got you here. Where's my chat at? Oh, comments. There we go. Never mind.
It's
Okay.
over on the right-hand side.
Okay, banners. Sorry. I need a tech person on here while I'm doing this. Yeah. So what were we talking about?
Leave the World Behind. I thought that's what we were talking about.
How did I get off on that tangent? See, tangents, that's the other thing.
Because you started talking politics.
Did I? And I said we weren't going to talk it.
You said Obama.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that. I was prefacing that by people that might not like Obama. I liked Obama. I don't care. I did. I thought he was a good president. I thought he had good intentions. But we're going to leave it at that, okay? To each their own, and we're not going to go down that road.
Yes.
But I just said that to preface it by saying, do not judge this film by the fact that
not at all.
By Obama's having influence into
film.
it.
I didn't feel a whole lot of politics, if any, really in it, except
there's some.
Well, maybe there was some, a bit of like racial stuff in there, maybe.
But that's stuff we need to face.
But it was really a minor degree to which it was in there. You know, it wasn't a major plot point or anything like that.
There are a lot of underlying things like when the family, the father and the daughter come to the house, and you know they're obviously they're black African Americans. They come to the house; it's their house that they're renting out, but because of the blackout and everything, they came there because they knew that was the one safe place that they knew they could be safe at, and then you know. You had Julia Roberts' character who was basically a Karen, and she worked through her. There was a bit of racism there, yes, underlying of that, and not trusting people, and but the thing was, you see through the film how she grows as a character, and she realizes her prejudices that she has. Because she even says, I haven't trusted you since the moment I met you. And, her character does evolve. There's a wonderful scene where they're dancing to this song, So Close, which is actually, I like the soundtrack in this film. There's a lot of things we talk about, and I love the soundtrack in it. But they were dancing.
There were some of I'm going to touch on that a minute while we're talking about it. There were some bits of the soundtrack, like in the first, the
first song.
They cut it into 3 or 4 parts.
I
think it was just 3 parts.
I think it was 3 parts.
So in the first third of the movie,
it starts off with the Kool and Gang song "Misled." That is so perfect. I don't know if that's what else.
I felt the opposite. I felt a lot of the music they showed in the first third of the film really didn't fit.
No. Think about it, because they're playing the song "Misled." It's like, if you listen to the words and you think, or just think of the title "Misled." It's like what you think is going to happen, what they think, like who is invading.
Well, I'm not talking about thinking about it. I'm talking about it just didn't.
To me, I thought that was perfect because you're being misled. You're being misled by these other countries that supposedly they don't know for sure, but they assume that Iran, China, and South Korea.
You want me to tell you who it really was? Not South Korea, North Korea.
Oh, excuse me. What did I say? North Korea.
Let me tell you who it really was. It was really the French.
It was the French. Well, first off, France doesn't exist. It's just something they made up to scare the English.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. But
my feelings on that was I just didn't feel like it. The music, to me.
Oh, I totally disagree with you.
To me, it didn't fit.
To me, it totally fit. Like I said, when they started off with Misled and coming up on the house and all that, I think part 1 was the house or something like that. Just even the title, but the words to the song, and I love the song. It's an '80s song, so I'm there already. And Kool and the Gang was so awesome, and they still are. But anyway, so yeah, for me, the music made everything, it was a big part of the film. And like the song that they were dancing to, So Close, that was a song in the 90s, I think, that was a pretty big hit. 90s. And it just sounded like on my system in the house here, I was kind of grooving along with it too. And the fact that she was getting a little tipsy, and then Julia Roberts and her Mahershala, their characters became a little bit more trusting of each other. And so that song is, ooh, you're dancing so close. And then they realize, oh, well, I have a wife, you know, his wife is in somewhere in his
little conversation about
that. And then, you know, that's where that during that song, they really bonded. So you're being misled to thinking that it's an invasion by one country or whatever, when, you know, they had the leaflets that were dropped and they were in a different language. All of
that, it was like you said, you know, a lot of that was just misdirection. We don't even know.
Right. We don't know. We assume. And,
you know, the West Coast, they're getting Korean pamphlets, and the East Coast, they're getting, you know, Death to America pamphlets in Arabic.
And the son said that he saw. He's like, oh, that's Death to America on the front of the pamphlet, and they all look at him and like, how do you know that? And he goes, oh, it's in a video game that I play.
Yeah, it's in a game I played.
So you see, there's programming there. There's the programming from, I don't know, the secret people that run the governments and all that in the world, and whatever is, you know, exposed, or people assume that, you know,
the cabal of evil millionaires.
There you go. They even talk about the cabal and all that, and you know, there's probably some things that were related to Jeffrey Epstein. I thought about that. You know, there's all these possibilities. So it's like your mind can go through 100 different conspiracy theories while you're watching this film. And in the end, you're no smarter to who and what is causing this. You know, it could just be us.
Now, I will say by the end, you have a good idea of what's going on. You just don't have any clue as to who's truly behind it.
It could be
the Russians. Is it the Chinese? Is it the Koreans? Is it Kevin Bacon? Nobody knows.
Is it Footloose? I don't know. You know.
Yes, it was Sean Penn because he didn't get a part.
Exactly. But no, is it just our own paranoia?
Yes. Is it our own government turning us against each other?
Yes. You know, and so it's all those questions. And if you know, did you catch the and this is where somebody, okay, this, I touched on this earlier, but I was watching Canadian Prepper. He's a guy, and every day, you know, this end of the world and stuff. He has interesting videos. And like I said, I watch a lot of different videos from different areas, and I'm not saying one is smarter than the other. Some things I just look at as entertainment, like it's Nostradamus or something. It's fun to listen to, but I don't take real stock in it, you know. And I'm not saying I take stock in anything he's saying or vice versa. I don't really have an opinion either way. But he did a video about it, and he mentioned this, and so that's when I looked the show up, and then I went to Netflix and watched it and came back and watched his video. And he has a brilliant breakdown of the film, much better than I'm going to do here. And some of the things he showed there, he said, I don't know if they were planted in the film to give you a false sense of what is true and what isn't, or if it's just misdirection, or if it's real symbolism, numerology, all this stuff. You know, it's all these rabbit holes you can go down. And so if you remember in the first scene, they show when Ethan Hawke's in bed there and Julia Roberts wakes him up because she's packing their suitcases. Yeah. And you have, if you look to the left of the screen there, you'll see there's a 76 cup, and you can't really see the 7. It's kind of faded out. So you see a 6 on the cup. Then you realize it's 6 o'clock on the alarm clock next to it. On the other side of the bed, you see something that's got the number 6. So 3 sixes. 666. So there you go. You know, is that intentional? Everything count. Everything that's on film, though.
Triangle.
I guess. But everything that's on film has been put there with a purpose. People, you know, we know in Disney films and animators put their little signature there.
Every single thing, you know.
Some of it could totally be coincidence, but there's a lot of things that he points out in his video that if you're a conspiracy thing, and he lays out that he's not saying it's conspiracy or that it's not, but he's saying if you are a conspiracy person and you were looking hard enough to find something, you could find it. And that's probably true with almost anything, you know.
Well, yeah.
So there's stuff like that, but if you add up all of that, it does seem like a lot. And then if you get in the political part and say, okay, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, especially Barack, had a lot of input into the script, into this making of the film that he produced here, because he wanted to get the authenticity of each of the scenarios. Right. And the fact that he's president and he's someone that would definitely, as former president, or as the president, he would have been front and center to all of that information of these possibilities. And so that adds a level of conspiracy and authenticity to it at the same time. So if you wanted to go down that road of, is this real or is this, conspiracy, that could add another layer to it. So you could build a whole case on this film being conspiracy, this and that, and all this symbolism. But it could just simply be putting that symbolism there, like knowing if you put the 3 6s out there, that people are going to react that way. So you might do that to get that reaction and not actually have anything behind what you're putting that there for, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm getting at in that. So, but if you go to Canadian Prepper's channel, you check out that video, he's like, what are they preparing us for something? So, and then it didn't happen. It didn't help that the next day, I think Ukraine was hit with like one of the biggest cyber attacks ever. So it's like,
really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And so, is it true? Is it, whatever, are we being prepared for something? I don't know. I don't have time to think about stuff like that.
No.
I'm too busy in my little world.
I ain't worried about. I'm not prepared for the end of the world. When the end of the world comes, I'm just gonna die because I don't have.
As soon as they cut off
I don't have an unlimited insulin supply.
Same here. As soon as they cut off the insulin, I'm gone. So
I hate that for my wife and my kids, but that's. So I try to prepare them.
Well, once you save your consciousness to the AI. Algorithm, and then the algorithm.
No AI for me.
I don't think we want an AI.
When I'm dead, I want to be dead. Let me rest.
Yeah, get rid of me. I don't want to come back as a zombie or a bug
just
or something.
Cremate me.
Yeah, put a fork in me.
In
I'm
the
done.
Backyard with some pine trees.
something like that. So I just got this tweet from Elon. He's like, "Okay, and I need you to stop talking." No.
You talk too
much. Me and
Okay.
Elon, we talk every day, and he's like,
He wants you to talk about some space.
We should go to Mars, man. I don't know. I still get as out there as he can be on some things. If you ever listen to him, like you should check out Lex Friedman. I like to listen to him. He'll have people in there and talk for 3 hours. He talked to astrophysicists and stuff like that, and they'll come up with all these wonderful theories and stuff. And I like to listen to stuff that makes me think. Well, what are possibilities, and what can we do as a human race that's better? Like one of the things that they don't publicize that Musk is working on is a sustainable battery that's almost an infinite source of power, and all these other things he's doing, SpaceX and Starlink and stuff like that. They have the technology isn't evil.
Instead, they want you to concentrate on what's going on X.
Some of it's misdirection, on X, and some of it's just, he just woke up one day and had the money and said, I'm going to buy Twitter and I'm going to change it. If you can make it better, yes. Less of a cesspool, yes. If you can make people be kinder, that's nice too. But it's
the internet, dude.
It's the internet.
It's going to be nice.
And I watched this brilliant special. CBS had a special on. I think it was CBS, talking about AI and quantum computing, which some of that stuff is way out there, and it's mind-boggling where in 5 to 10 years we can be with computing and how we say AI is changing things already. It's going to be even more. Oh, there's my dog. He's having a fuss. Anyway, but they were talking about where computers are going. And it's just fascinating. I love some of that theoretical talk about, I like listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson when he talks about, the universe and how it was formed and what we believe and so, stuff like that is interesting, and you got to take it with a grain of sand, what's truth and what's, just theoretical, I don't know.
So, back to Leave the World Behind.
You have to ring me in. I'm going to go on those tangents and all that. So
I'm doing my best, man. Doing my best.
So, can you tell I'm not on my meds? No, I'm just joking. But
no, not a bit.
Not a bit. No. I'm focused.
So we talked about the soundtrack.
Yeah, I thought the soundtrack was really good. Oh, something in the chat here.
How about how close was that place to New York City? I mean, my God, they were just across the river.
Oh, hey, I just want to ask you: does the screen look okay from your side? The streaming, are we good?
Yeah. I'll put that in there, because I don't think we really need all that in the middle anymore.
Oh, okay. I can take it out then. Oops.
There we go. Now you can enjoy our pretty faces.
Is that what we're calling that? Oh, okay, there we go. Thank you.
That's what we'll call it anyway. It might not be true, but
yeah, we talked about you and I should have jumped on the video bandwagon years ago in 2008.
Yeah, 10 years ago anyway.
Well, we talked about the technology really wasn't there like it kind of is now.
Well, that's true. Because like it's not like it is now. These days you got StreamYard and you can just click a few things and boom, you're live streaming.
That's right, you're doing it.
And back in the
day, you
day,
too can be a podcaster.
10 years ago was not like that. It wasn't that easy.
Not at all. Not at all.
You had to have like some kind of Microsoft meeting.
I had mixers. I've got a Rodecaster Pro, but I had mixers. And we had cables everywhere, and then we didn't even we could never do this when it was dial-up. We never did it when it was dial-up. I'm sure. Yeah. But
No.
That's why we didn't do it till 2000.
The 10-minute podcast would have took 30 days to
just to upload. We used Skype and whatever else we used back in the day.
We used Skype and Audacity.
Yeah, and I'm actually using. I still to this day use Audacity, and I'm actually doing my backup recording here for that. Like I've got.
I think I finally deleted Audacity. Maybe last year because I wasn't using it for anything.
Well, you really don't. You're kind of in your marketplace now where you're just uploading videos and for your live streams you've kind of branched back out a little bit to do it. But it's all kind of self-contained at this point. You can just go live on YouTube or you can Instagram or whatever.
It just back in the day it wasn't like that. It was much more time consuming.
Right. Well, we're gonna circle.
Of course, Ed spent most of the time doing that because he was the editor.
Yeah, I was.
And me and Chaos.
Yeah.
We're just the.
I think I was still the comic relief.
I guess we helped create the content.
Yeah. Y'all were definitely co-creators.
That was our job, was content creators.
Yeah, I mean,
along with Ed, and then he got the envious job of
putting it all together.
Files sent to him, all 3 Audacity audio files, and then trying to line them up. And
yeah, I was doing multi-track recording before I kind of knew what it was. So, audio is always my strong suit. And even with this live stream right now, I'm not happy with the sound quality of it. It's driving me crazy a little bit.
Well, there's only so much you can do with.
I know.
With it, so anyway, back to leave the world behind.
Yeah, I was trying to ring myself in and say we're gonna circle back to that, but back to leave the world behind, and spoiler filled.
I mean, like that one place in the woods, they're looking across the river, and there's New York City. So my God, they were like,
was that New York though? Was it?
Yeah, that was.
I guess it was.
Yeah.
Because the daughter kept asking about the nuclear power plants when they said the hacker supposedly, did they hack that? Yeah, she kept saying that. And, which another thing, I don't know if you picked up on, because Mahershala Ali and his daughter, they were definitely higher class citizens. In the social class.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you have someone who's like a Karen, Julia Roberts, her character, at least initially in the film. And when the daughter's talking to her, the daughter's obviously, a lot younger, of course. And she's talking to her, and it's so, like, the Karen is so uppity, and she's just kind of naturally uppity, but it's just... she is not being condescending. It's just kind of how the daughter is. Right, but it's like, she's from a higher standard of living. Like when they talk about where they live.
They were.
Oh, that's cute.
The father and daughter are from Park Avenue somewhere.
Right.
And they were in, what was it, somewhere in the Bronx.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I think that was some of the racial tones.
It was in the Bronx and an up and coming affordable neighborhood, and so,
there was the racial. Obviously, there was the racial profiling there that didn't get addressed, but you kind of could see it was there. She, as a Karen, Julia Roberts' character, she was racially profiling them as, here's some African American people that show up in the middle of the night, claim this is their home. The guy forgets his wallet; he left it in his jacket at the opera when they or whatever, the ballet when they left, and all that, which is totally plausible and believable, and that's But she was there were those undertones there, which speaks to the wholeness of the film in this country, that we still have our prejudices, even if we don't realize it, and we have to look beyond those prejudices, and we have to be the better person, and we have to like the differences in people. I say, we don't have, so, but you had to show those things, those bits of division, because we see those. That's important in the frame of this film and what comes after this film, because it's going to be brother against brother in the next film, I'm sure, or it's led to believe that if the story continues,
right.
It's going to be citizen against citizen, neighbor against neighbor, kind of like the end days in the Bible, blah blah blah. If you believe all that, and so I don't know. This film just does it so brilliantly. There's a lot of films that I've watched. My gosh, I have a lot of connections and friends in the film community from when I worked in Savannah, and there was a film that was recently done there, and I was watching it the other night, and I didn't hold back on Facebook.
Oh no, yeah, I got that text.
Yeah, I was like, that had to be a fan
of that movie.
The worst thing. It was painful to watch. It was just so bad, and I don't fault anybody who worked on the film, because it takes a village. It does to make a film, and hardworking people, but it wasn't a good script. It just wasn't. There's so many things wrong with that film, and then I had just seen this film, which is 10 times better than that film, obviously. And so, not to compare the two, they're nothing alike, but still, good cinema is good cinema. A good story, it comes back like we were talking with Star Wars. A good story is a good story. A bad story is a bad story. Right. So a film is bad if your story fails, So, what else? I keep saying What Lies Beneath. Why do I keep saying that as the title? That's the old Harrison Ford.
Is that the one where he plays the bad guy? He's the murderer.
Yeah, and his wife's in a bathtub or something, I remember, or something.
Yeah.
Is that Michelle Pfeiffer?
Was it Michelle? I want to say it was.
We're just going to say it's Michelle Pfeiffer. It could be wrong. Somebody look it up. I'm too lazy to look it up. I don't work for you. I don't have to look that up. Yeah, so this film was just Leave the World Behind is the name of it. It was just so well done, and I love films that are suspenseful like this, and this kind of...
Yes, and it was really, I would put that in, the category I would put that in is psychological thriller.
Yeah. Very much.
You can't really say it was a horror movie.
No, it wasn't horror. Yeah, that's
and it was. I think it was a little more than just a drama. It wasn't just a drama.
And the fact that it's more, it's almost a what if, and you could draw your own.
Well, most movies are.
Oh yeah, but sometimes if it's a good story, usually you get a conclusion. And we're left with
have that suspension of disbelief.
Right.
When you go to see a film, or when you watch a film. Well, I won't say go see.
Right.
When you watch a film.
You remember when people used to go to theaters and watch films? That was so much fun.
Yeah. God, I can't remember last time I did that.
I know. Well, you don't have a great movie I saw. You don't have a great theater in your town to actually watch it.
Well, they've refurbished it since.
You said that. Yeah, they upgraded from the DVD player to Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe they got a 4K player. I don't know. Do they have what plays 4Ks these days?
Because they upgraded like seats and all that stuff.
All right, it's time for a curveball. Let's talk about physical media going away.
I think it's a mistake. I mean, I understand it from a business perspective, because most everyone, and you know, I'm included in this, and I know you're included in this, that people don't buy a lot of physical media anymore.
I don't have room for it. It's
you know, and that's the thing for it. And why should you buy it? You know, you're already paying for Netflix subscription and HBO or Max subscription, and
everybody had
Disney
cable,
Plus
and now
Hulu and.
We said this years ago when all the streaming stuff started. Everybody was cutting the cord and going to the streaming, and leaving cable. Now, when you add up all what you're paying for those packages, you're paying for cable. It's the same difference. It's just in different pockets.
They're getting you one way or another. It just took them a little while to get there.
But this brings up a point, and I know Oppenheimer director Christopher Nolan, and maybe Scorsese, I don't know, because he's always in these kind of disagreements about the way film is going. But talking about the physical media, Nolan's like, you really need to preserve it, and I understand that. And somebody said, I don't know if it was Nolan, that that people that collect films, buy DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K, right, whatever, they're actually preserving the Hollywood creations. They're preserving the film industry because it's all going to go away. And there's been an instance of this with PlayStation. You want to mention that? What PlayStation did?
Yeah. The PlayStation store, and very controversial. And I don't know what I didn't read up a whole lot on it. I was just because I'm not on PlayStation. I don't deal with PlayStation Network, but apparently I'm assuming it was some kind of contractual thing ran out, and that all Discovery content that people had purchased copies that they had purchased,
not rented, but purchased
was being purged.
So
they would no longer on that platform have access to this digital media that they had purchased.
And owned. So they basically stole from them. If you think about it, if you read the
fine print in digital media, there's no guarantee that you will always own that digital content.
But if you buy the video game disc, or you buy the movie Blu-ray 4K disc,
physical copy,
you own it.
I'm not sure that's so true anymore. Even though you buy the physical copy of a game these days, you still have to download it.
Well, the problem with,
even though you have the disc,
the problem with the video game systems going forward, they're going to get rid of the drives already. They're starting to do that.
PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are probably the last consoles that are going to have physical.
But they're taking away your ability to play them.
They're working on a new the Switch 2, I guess is what they're calling it. So, Nintendo always kind of does something weird when it comes to that stuff. When everybody moved to discs with like let's see, what was the generation? PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, and what was it? The GameCube, right?
GameCube, yeah.
So even though all three of those used a disc, Nintendo went the weirdo way, and instead of using the 5-inch disc,
right?
The standard CD size is like a 5-inch disc. They were using like the 2.5 or 3-inch discs in the GameCube.
I thought they were just trying to be proprietary, like Apple.
No, they're just Nintendo just makes weird decisions when it comes to stuff like that. Now, not so much when they did the Wii and the Wii U. They were using standard size discs by that time. But then, when the next generation of their console comes along, the Switch, they're going back to basically an SD card. Now, don't get me wrong, their carts are a little more than an SD card, but at the most basic level, that's basically their games are on an SD card. So, most physical media is going away. Nintendo might still be using SD cards. I don't know.
Well, I can't believe we're still on flash drives and like my Rodecaster Pro has an internal memory, I think, but it has a little micro SD card, and I'm surprised we still have those. Yeah.
I'm
a medium.
I'm not. There will always.
I thought they were going away years ago, but it didn't.
No, there will always be a need for some sort
of like removable memory.
There's always going to be some need for some sort of physical media that people can use at home. Be it an external hard drive or a flash drive.
Well, you need something that's swappable,
or a compact flash card.
You know, something on the fly that you can swap out. Yeah,
exactly. Especially when you look at stuff like photographers.
Yeah,
they're gonna need especially somebody that takes a butt ton of pictures.
Right.
They're going to need some kind of removable media in their camera. They're always going to need that until the media, the internal storage becomes such that the need for an external goes away. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. At least not within my lifetime. Unless they start building those damn computers like in Star Trek.
Well,
Duotronics.
When we get into in the next 5 years or so, starting with quantum computing, that's
Yeah, but that
I know it's still space age.
Financially accessible to the mass public is 50 years away, probably.
I don't know, 50, maybe 20. I think things are going to go a lot faster than you think, and then all of us think. Who knows?
Well, that computer stuff usually
Skynet's going to...
And before you know it...
Skynet's going to be self-aware.
It'll be bombing the shit out of us and...
like, oopsies. So...
Oh, sorry. Were you people living there?
Yep. And, so, yeah. Technology has gone crazy. So... I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but very interesting.
I don't know, but anyway, back to like toward the end of the movie.
Yeah.
When Julia Roberts and the younger girl were standing in the woods looking across the river, and New York is just getting the crap bombed out of it.
Right.
And that kind of reminds me. You have that flashback scene in The Walking Dead. I want to say it's in season 2, where Laurie and Rick's buddy that he ends up having to kill, Shane,
yeah.
They're
had the thing for a while.
The traffic is all stalled out on the interstate, and they can see Atlanta.
So it looks like Atlanta, basically.
The planes flying over and just bombing the crap out of Atlanta. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Only there wasn't as much bombing going on.
Yeah, that looked like Atlanta traffic.
But God, what about that microwave weapon they were talking about? Oh, where the sound, the high pitched noise that they were hearing was a microwave weapon.
Well, that was, and this is where I think Barack was able to bring in some more realistic scenario. That was part of the 3-pronged attack, essentially portrayed in the film here, and that's what the people, like the son was having with his teeth falling out and stuff like that. And that was Havana syndrome, as they call it, because that happened. Something similar to that, they theorize, was caused by possibly a microwave type of weapon, possibly, allegedly,
which
in Cuba.
Touches on.
Yeah, right. So that's one of the things that they talked about.
From he was talking about the one day his head didn't feel right, and after the first attack, his head didn't feel right.
Well, what's interesting? He show him get bit by a bug or something in the woods. And so you think maybe it's that, and they try to say, well, is it Lyme disease?
I knew it wasn't that.
I knew it wasn't that. Yeah.
I ain't never heard of a tick biting you and your teeth falling out.
I'm like, I'm not going in the woods if that's true. Not that I go in the woods, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I ain't like to go in the woods ever since I saw the Blair Witch.
Oh God. I saw the part of the second one. I was like, oh God, I'll never go in there if they stop making another movie.
The second one was just dumb.
It was beyond stupid. Yeah.
Dumb. Now the first one, I mean, back in the day, that was.
Oh, that was that started the whole shaky camera stuff. That the whole shaky camera that they used on what was the movie, the monster movie that you don't see a lot of the monster the shaky camera. Cloverfield.
J.J. Abrams movie.
Cloverfield. Yeah. That was one of the big followers of that whole genre of shaky camera. And God, you saw it in every kind of low budget film.
But
that time is coming past. Yeah, you can't do all that shaky stuff with 4K. You can't have a 4K shaky movie. It kind of defeats the purpose.
But, I mean, at the time that Blair Witch came out, that was,
that was like guerrilla filmmaking.
I won't say it was brand new, but you didn't really see that type of.
It's like
I don't want to say professional.
It's like the Matrix films,
but you really didn't see that kind of those types of shots a lot in movies.
Well, the same thing happened, like in film history. The Matrix may not be one of the greatest films of all time, but it kind of is for its influence, because everything you knew it was when you got to Charlie's Angels 2 and they were doing Matrix moves, stuff.
Well, yeah,
films where you didn't even need that, and it was all that bullet time was being done, and that was they ran that into the ground. They still use it to an extent today.
You rarely see that anymore.
Yeah, you don't see it as much, but But it's just like everything
they've moved beyond that, really, with all the stuff they can do with CGI now.
Heck yeah.
Not that it always looks great.
No. You can have CGI that looks pretty good.
Remember Luke Skywalker we were talking about earlier. I still don't think, even... Okay, he shows up at the end of Mando Season 2.
Right.
Which
was fantastic.
It looks kind of like him, but not really.
But the thing was... we were just so hungry to see Luke Skywalker, that version of Luke Skywalker, after Disney had screwed up the Luke Skywalker character so badly, and just the legacy characters, they really screwed them all up. And so to see that was the Luke Skywalker we needed to see. And so we kind of took it. It's okay. We understand that's not going to be 100% perfect.
Right.
Now,
and then, in Book of Boba Fett, the CGI got a little better. It still doesn't look like Mark Hamill.
But guess what? All that stuff.
Part of that is Mark Hamill has one of those faces that is really difficult to replicate, because even in action figure form, at least, affordable end action figures is what I like to call them, like, Hasbro's Black Series or the Vintage Collection or whatever, they never get him. They get it close enough that it's Luke Skywalker, but it doesn't really look like him.
Right.
And now when you get into some of the higher end stuff, like those Hot Toys 1/6 scale stuff that, $400 or $500 action figures. Yeah. They look like him, and at that price,
but
they should.
The stuff that they just shows you how technology changes so fast. Like the stuff that they did, and I can't remember the name of the processes. I know SCAD's built a studio and everything using that. What they did in Mando, with the screen that they did and all that, you can tell in certain points, like when you get to Ahsoka, which I still think Ahsoka was one of the best things they've done with Star Wars post, Disney, but I got problems with Ahsoka, but all in all I did enjoy it thoroughly, and it was nice to see what they did. But there's points in there where you can tell there's a screen back there. You just kind of can almost look at it close enough if you freeze it and say, yeah, I can kind of see that. Even that's getting played up.
If you're freezing it to do that, then you're looking to say, hey, that's a screen,
Well, I get that. That's a valid point. But even when you're watching it, I remember there was a point where they were watching it where she was where the columns were when she was going to face the droids that blew themselves up and all that or whatever. There was one part I remember that the shadows on one of the like pillars or whatever didn't fall exactly where it wasn't where the shadow should be, and it was like one of those little mistakes. You know, it's kind of like in Game of Thrones where you see the coffee, the Starbucks coffee cup, you know, in the scene, you know, which that was an obvious mistake
that
there.
kind of stuff. It's filmmaking.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. You can't always fix it in the editing room.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hate on anybody.
And you don't always notice it when you're filming.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I get that. I get that. There's this continuity or error or whatever, but not continuity error, but anyway, I'm not knocking on anybody who's in the, we talk about films and stuff that we dislike about them. That doesn't mean we're knocking on the people that created the stuff. We're just, knocking on the final product. And
well, it depends on,
It depends.
If we're talking about like The Last Jedi, I'm completely knocking on
that was flawed from the story.
Ryan.
Yeah. What's
his name? Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Yeah.
I would literally knock him down.
Oh dear. Yeah, you're not a fan of The Last Jedi, and I get that. I understand that. But you know me, I even in the worst things, I can find nuggets of things I like that I think are good in there.
Well,
so.
I'm not going to say there wasn't anything in it. Nothing comes to mind, but okay. How about this? It was good to see Chewbacca and Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 and the legacy characters. It was good to see them again, even if they were completely misused.
And at least we got Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And wait a minute, no, we didn't. Oh,
we didn't.
And we'll never have that. Oh,
never
wow,
that.
Never.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, whoever. Sure. Thanks, Disney. You could have done better. You had a responsibility. George Lucas, that's the thing about Kathleen Kennedy. I don't dislike her as a person. We used to praise the things she did with Indy before, but before she...
No. Before, nobody knew who Kathleen Kennedy was before.
They knew of... I knew of her. And she was more an acolyte of Lucas. She was
Steven Spielberg's assistant.
Right.
That's before she was put in charge of Lucasfilm. That's what she was known for. She was Steven Spielberg's assistant.
True. But, we didn't have any ill will towards her. We don't have any ill will towards her as a person. It's just the creative decisions that she's made, like had they left J.J. Abrams alone and let him do the trilogy, it would have turned out markedly better. I believe.
It would have been better. I still don't say it would have been great.
You did hear the interview of Kylo Ren, what's his name? Adam Driver said that originally
where he basically said they had no plan.
They had no plan, and actually the character arc of Kylo Ren, he was going to be the anti-Darth Vader. He wasn't going to get better, come back to life. He was going to go dark
himself by the end of the arc.
Right. He was not being redeemed. He was going from good to bad and worse,
Worse, yeah.
And that would have been far more interesting to see him do that.
I think so.
But, if you think about it, I was thinking about the trilogy and first the original trilogy, then, you add the prequels to that, then you add the Disney Star Wars to that. And basically you start off with the original prequel. It's about Luke Skywalker. This farm boy.
Talking about the original trilogy.
Right. It's basically the Luke Skywalker story. There are some other characters, of course, that are important.
George Lucas changed. No, this is a story
it's really about Darth Vader
and his redemption.
Right. When you add the prequels in, then when you add the Disney stuff, the whole damn thing isn't about any of the Skywalkers. It's about freaking Darth Plagueis, or excuse me, which should have been a Darth Plagueis.
Darth Sidious.
It's Darth Sidious. Really, it's kind of now changed.
He's
and
the
basically,
main character.
Other than keeping him bad, not Plagueis. God, they should have put Plagueis in there. They missed an opportunity with Snoke. They so missed an opportunity.
Well, you never know, man, because Filoni's going to be cherry picking. Well, I mean, they've already been cherry picking the best stuff out of what's Legends now, but what used to be the expanded universe. They're already cherry picking the best stuff out of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had Thrawn and Rebels.
This is the best novelization.
That is a really good book.
This is by James Lucerno, and he did Star Wars Millennium Falcon, which I didn't read that one. But this is a it's Darth Plagueis.
I read
Darth
that one.
Plagueis.
It wasn't that great. But
Yeah.
that book, Darth Plagueis,
is great.
It's a good read, even if it's not canon anymore.
It was canon, and it should never have.
It should be canon.
It should be canon, but this is the book right here. That's the one.
So you never know. Like I said, I really expect Filoni is going to be cherry picking some of the best stuff out of the Legends to bring to the live screen.
I'm excited that Filoni is essentially the creative director now, and
yes, he's basically the Star Wars guy.
As much as it is popular now to hate on Disney, and some of it rightfully so because Phase 4 really sucked. I mean, compared to what had come before and what we were promised.
I'm not going to blame all of that on studio directives, but probably about
I'm not. But the thing is,
70% of it.
I am still there, and I've always said I'm still there for the long haul, in the good and the bad. When Disney turns around, I'm not a fair weather fan because I'm not leaving Disney. I'm still watching stuff. I still have Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, I'm still.
I didn't cancel my membership. I didn't, Kathleen Kennedy didn't ruin my childhood, or whoever, or Ryan Johnson. Well, Ryan Johnson might have ruined it a little bit.
And I understand that these properties that we grew up with
have to change.
There is that to take into account, that over time things do have to change in order to stay relevant.
Right.
But there's times when it's done in a bad way.
Don't take legacy characters and disrespect them.
Exactly. Like The Last Jedi did. I thought that was completely.
And we come back to what. Yes.
To Mark Hamill's previous performances as the character, and that's not the way to do things. And one of the worst movies to do that. And again, I understand to change things to stay relevant with the times or whatever, but one of the worst movies to try and update a legacy franchise was that 2016 Ghostbusters movie. And I don't dislike that movie because the cast was all female.
Oh no, that wasn't a problem for me. I love the comedians that are in there.
Back in the day, that was what all the people said. Anybody who didn't like that movie, you hated women and this and that, and it was just ridiculous statements. But you have to look at it. I don't dislike that movie because it has women in it. I dislike that movie because it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. Yeah.
It could have had men doing the same stuff, and it still would have been a bad movie.
I would have hated it as equally. Yes.
They could have had the original actors in that movie, and it would have been a bad movie.
Anybody that knows me, that one of my favorite Saturday Night Live performers from the beginning of her tenure on the show was Kate McKinnon. She was just on this past Saturday, last night, I guess, or yesterday. Yeah, because today Sunday, December 17th.
Yeah,
so yeah, she was on. She hosted last night. I don't know if it was her first time hosting or not. I can't remember, but it was a pretty funny show. But I've always loved Kate McKinnon, and she's hilarious. It had what's the other lady in there? She's been in a lot of films. McCarthy, she's funny. She's very funny too. So
she's like Will Ferrell. I don't dislike Will Ferrell. There are things that he does that are hilarious, and then there are things that he does that are absolutely not
like when he showed up in Barbie, he didn't have to do anything, just be Will Ferrell, and it worked. He was just hilarious.
I hadn't seen that yet, even though it is on Max now. I noticed that today that it's on Max now, and you can even watch it with ASL.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, yeah, my AT&T has been. I had to reboot it because my internet or whatever, or my DirecTV, whatever it's called, because it kept giving me a subscribe to iMac, or what is it, Max now, which is the dumbest name. It should be HBO. That's what it is. And
well, you saw where Showtime is going to be rebranding
to what is it, Paramount Plus or
cable channel? The cable channel is going to be rebranding to Paramount Plus with Showtime. That is what the channel is now going to be called. Well, it's not now, but as soon as they do the rebranding, that's what it's.
Streaming is not working. It's not. It was necessary when the pandemic hit, when theaters closed, but it's not profitable. It can eventually be, but it's not there yet.
Here's the thing. Netflix was super popular and super profitable for Netflix when it was only Netflix. And I'm talking about, when there was only a smattering of original Netflix content. Most, up until 5 years ago, maybe, most of everything that was on Netflix was, TV shows and movies and stuff that they had purchased the rights for X amount of time to show on their platform. And a lot of that, when they first started their streaming, they got it dirt cheap because nobody believed in streaming. They didn't think it was going to be a thing. And so, they got, long time deals, dirt cheap to show the stuff. And then, it developed. And this was still at the same time when they were still doing, the main part of their business was disc rental. For those of you who don't remember, Netflix started out as a disc rental through the mail service.
Was it like this past year, they finally stopped shipping DVDs? I didn't realize they never stopped.
I think they did, and they're starting to sell off their physical content. But,
the thing is, they have been around so long, I forgot that I used to get discs from them. And I remember when I upgraded to Blu-ray, But we were talking earlier in this broadcast where we were talking about physical media and all that, and we were talking about actually owning it. And I got to the point where I would buy Blu-rays and never open them. I still have some with the wrapper on them. I guess it's good if I'm collecting, not for collector's sake, but I just stopped watching them because it became, you got to take the disc out. This is how lazy we've gotten when we have streaming. So, it's, oh my God, you mean I have to take the disc out and go walk over to the machine and put it in there, whether it's your Xbox or your PlayStation or if you have a Blu-ray player.
And we were talking about the negatives of no longer having physical media. And we'll go back to Star Wars. It's one of the best examples of we need physical copies of that, because now the original trilogy, you can't even get it in its original theatrical cuts anymore.
Right. That's true.
You cannot do that. They, once the special editions came out, and I think one time past that, they had a DVD release of the original theatrical releases of the trilogy.
I should have. And
this was after the prequels and everything had come out.
I'm looking for mine, by the way. Gosh, I've still got a lot of my physical media, and I need to let it go, but I just haven't.
Well, at this point, dude, you just as well keep it, even if you just box it up. I mean, what you gonna do? Take it to the pawn shop and get 10 cents a disc?
It's over there. I think it's over there, but I'm too lazy to reach over there and grab it.
But,
See, that's where we are these days.
You can't even get the original theatricals for the original trilogy anymore. And I want to say it was in maybe 2004, 2005.
Maybe something like that.
Might even have been 2006 when they did that final release. And it really, I didn't think it was going to happen for the longest time, because George Lucas said the last time that the theatrical versions, or at least a version of the theatrical versions, were going to be released was when they released the THX versions on VHS. I want to say that was 96, maybe the year before the special editions came out.
Mm-hmm.
They had that big VHS release of the THX versions of the movie, and all that they really did with those was just go in and clean up the sound and clean up the picture. That's the Blu-ray.
That's the Blu-ray, yeah. I remember when that came out, I could not wait to get it on Blu-ray. Oh my God, I can't wait.
I got that one too. And yeah, they changed it yet again for that release.
There's more.
Yes, there we go. The THX.
This is the widescreen, because I got the.
Yes. The other one, the pan and scan one, was in a gold and black package. Let me guess, you got that one too.
Do you mean this one?
There you go.
Yes, I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, this was the pan and scan.
This is also a special. This is the special edition.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And it's THX. Now I did have.
No, there was a.
Oh, look at this.
Before that.
Holy moly! Look what this is.
I know I got mine somewhere. I just don't know where they're at to lay hands on them.
You see what those are?
Yeah. But again, those are the special editions. The THX versions, I don't think there was a box set for those. I think you had to buy them individually.
Yeah, these are 1990. Well, excuse me, 1997. On these are VHS of the original trilogy.
Right.
And they are THX.
But it is the special edition.
It is the special edition.
Okay.
Yeah, see right here.
I'm talking about there was a release. There was a release before that.
Ooh, I've got one of these in here upside down. How dare me.
All that they did to it was clear up the picture and clear up the sound, and that was it.
Can you see it's a special edition on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are actually worth. These are worth something.
The THX version came in a box set like that, but I don't think they did. I think they were all.
Now these you are right. I got the widescreen because they were in the silver, and this color I believe was what the standard. I guess it would be standard versus widescreen, because this is widescreen. I don't know if you can see that with the light there. Yeah, these are the widescreen, but this color of the VHS, the gold and the black, it was something similar to that. I feel like instead of this being silver, it was gold. It was gold, because that's the other side of it.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me see if I can find mine. I might know.
We got to do that. We got to represent. So, but yeah, these were interesting, and like the VHS are actually worth something here. I've looked up on some sites, and I'm actually probably sitting on something, but I won't sell them. Wow, this is cool. I don't know if you can see this in here. I hadn't realized this, but there's a special limited edition of X-Wing versus TIE Fighter with exclusive holographic game CDs. This is when you had the long I don't know if you can see that on camera. Probably not too well there. I can't get the lighting. But this is talking about the actual game disc for... plus it includes... Making Magic for free, like $50 value. It's behind the scenes look at the making of the Star Wars trilogy special edition. So that's kind of cool. But this is the original trilogy. This is 1997. Like we said, it's the THX. This is the VHS copies that still work and still play. Oops. And it's a tight fit there. It's making the sound when you put it back in the package. But that's pretty cool there. But then we jump through time to what year is this? Which I like this one. This is the Blu-ray of the complete saga. At the time, it was a complete saga. This is episodes 1, 5, 6, and 4. Oh, excuse me. This is everything. Excuse me. This is all 6 of them. This is before the Disney trilogy was even a thought. And it's got this complete guide to the galaxy. But this is all 6 of the films, which has a really cool character study there. But this is all 6 of the films. And it has commentary and spoofs on there, a disc. You have 3 bonus discs on there. Pretty cool. That's the second disc and the first discs. And a lot of great artwork in here, but Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and of course, A New Hope. Revenge of the Sith. The best of the prequels. Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. Which Phantom Menace still looks good, even though it's it's dated, and all that. But this is really cool. But this is, what year was this? This is put out.
Find my THX.
I'm trying to see what year this was again. This is actually 2011 on the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize something in here. Well, this is all 6 of them. Well, I did realize that, and it had 3 bonus discs. I was telling everybody.
And it did,
Yeah, in there, the spoofs. It had.
But the only thing about that is none of the behind the scenes or anything like that was anything new. It's all stuff that we had seen previously.
It was really cool. I wanted to show this.
I didn't find my THX versions, but what I did find.
Oh God, that's the original.
Where's my original?
What year is that?
Huh?
What year is that? Dang it.
The copyright for the disc says 92, but that's I know I had this before that. I don't know why I would say that.
Did I say 2004 on this trilogy? That's what this is. This is 2004. Oh man, so you got the original artwork.
Yeah, these are the original.
The posters.
Well, at least some of the earlier.
But those aren't. Those are those the 97 versions or?
No. These are the messing with anything versions.
And what format is that? That's VHS.
This is VHS, yes.
God, those are definitely worth something. I was saying. Oh, yep. Okay. Represent.
I think the THX versions of these may be at my mom and dad's, but if you remember, the artwork on them wasn't like the movie posters. They had it was Darth Vader on one, and then like the Stormtrooper helmet on another one.
Later on, that's what's kind of weirds me out, because I'm such a purist, at least I used to be, for the artwork, the original artwork. And then if I would see they'd put a movie out, because I used to work in electronics and we'd have movies, and then they would come out with the new versions or, just new covers to them to update the look of it. And I understand why they did that. But at first I was very much a purist about it. Now I'm not so bad about it because it's a different artwork. But
right.
Yeah,
I don't mind them changing the artwork as long as it's good.
Hey, in the VHS, I'm curious. In the VHX, it has. Oh, here it came out.
Will always be the poster for The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
This one. Now I know even in the theatrical release, they had several different posters, plus the international posters and whatnot. But to me, this one is the one.
They had a cool one. I didn't actually get to go see it, but I got the poster. I think a friend or somebody got it for me for Return of the Jedi when it came out. This past year, the 40th anniversary, and it's a beautiful poster. I'll have to show it to you sometime. Luke Skywalker, and it's got he's like on Dagobah, and you can see like Vader's helmet, how they always do in the background, and it's actually kind of cool. Anyway, this was in there. And what this is basically X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. A special
Lord, I
limited
remember
edition
that was a good game.
with exclusive holographic games CDs, because you had the CDs. It's got 2 of them there. Plus, will include Making Magic for free, all for $49.95. Includes Making Magic, a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition. So that's...
And I bet that stuff is on your Blu-ray discs. I bet Behind the Magic is on there already.
It probably is.
In fact, you know, some of the older, you remember CBS used to have those specials.
Oh, yeah.
When Star Wars movies were coming out, they had, you know, that hour-long behind-the-scenes.
Right.
You can actually go find those on YouTube. Because I was talking to my oldest daughter about it the other night, you know, how they puppeteered Jabba the Hutt. And I was trying to explain it to her. And she was kind of getting what I was talking about. So I was like, nah, let me look on YouTube and see if they got the behind the scenes of it.
This is from 2000.
99.
Yeah, somebody for...
Oh, yeah, that's right, because it hit the theaters in 99.
Somebody gave me... I don't know that this is my original. I feel like somebody gave this to me later on.
I can tell you for a fact that is not your original, because you bought the same one I did, which was the big box set that had like a film, piece of film in it, and...
Yeah,
and the VHS
somewhere,
and like a behind the scenes
somewhere
booklet or something.
Yeah,
but it's about this wide. The box is about this wide. It's about three VHS tapes wide.
It's somewhere. I've still got some stuff packed up, but
and so
yeah.
Because I remember that was a race to the register to see who was going to buy episode 1 on VHS first, the night before inventory.
Yeah. That's true. It was. Oh my God, man, those were the days.
Because I remember it was that night. I was like,
before the dark times, before Disney.
And I said, are we going to be here much longer? And he was like, man, it's the night before inventory. How do you ask that? I said, man, I'm just trying to plan ahead because I got to go home tonight and wash some clothes. Otherwise, I'll be in here counting stuff naked.
I got to go home and watch Star Wars. Is the truth. So.
I did not watch the whole thing before I went to bed that night.
I'm not a fan of anime, but I'm very proud of having this on Blu-ray and DVD. Akira.
Ah, yes.
The 25th anniversary edition.
You know, I know Blu-ray looks better, but I don't think it was nearly as prolific as DVD was. There are so many.
Well, that was a massive jump from VHS, you know, and the fact of VHS, well, of course your DVDs, you could scratch them, which is the worst case scenario. But with VHS, if that tape broke, because we weren't good at putting tape back together.
Now, if I were to put these Star Wars VHS in it, they would probably be very grainy because, you know, those magnetic particles
probably be faded a little bit.
Break down over time.
Yeah, they'll be faded a bit.
And so it does unfortunately happen. I guess if I want a copy of the original stuff, I guess I need to get me one of those kits that'll take it. You know, you hook it up to your VCR and then you hook it up to your computer and transfer the stuff.
I've actually got that stuff because I was going to do that. I was going to take people's stuff and I was going to take their VHSs and my like stuff that I have on DVDs and Blu-rays and like, you know, family memories and stuff, and I was going to put them on Blu-ray or at least on. I did on some things I put on DVD. I burned a DVD, but I kept my VHS to DVD converter, and then so I have the machines, and they still work. At least they did about a year ago when I looked at them, but you know, because I wanted to still have that ability, and so.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, with vinyl coming back, even though I've really not bought any vinyl, I bought maybe one thing. And I'm not going to go back and buy more physical media, but seeing vinyl make a comeback makes me think, oh my gosh, you know, I better not get rid of my Blu-rays and DVDs now. I'm kind of like, I need to hang on to them.
Well, you know, I think stores...
Plus, I don't feel like I get anything for them, you know?
Retailers, I think they're going to find that completely abandoning physical media. And even the companies that produce this stuff, I think they're going to find that it's not. I think they're going to find it's a mistake.
Well, here's the other thing. You know what Hollywood could have used in 2023 with all the bombs they had for all the studios, not just Disney, Marvel, and all that stuff, but they could have used that. Used to be where a film didn't make money, it would be a sleeper hit. You know, it wouldn't do good in theaters, but then like Princess Bride or something, but then on VHS or DVD, home video, essentially,
a cult classic.
It becomes a cult classic, and you would get that extra revenue stream. So now you have to make everything in the theater run, because you don't have that. You're not going to necessarily get it all back in streaming. You know,
right.
And who knows what all the streaming numbers equate to in dollars?
Point, really, it's not. And maybe that is another thing that needs to be looked at, is that the companies are going to do away with physical media in order to bolster their streaming revenue.
Now here's something you have to have.
Get physical media. The only choice they have is to sign up for these streaming services. You know.
So when we're streaming here, this is Sunday, December 17th. There's something you have to have. It's Christmas time, Christmas season, and I'm proud to have this on. What is this on? This is actually on DVD, and it's so hard to get this. I got it years ago, and super happy that I have it. But Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Oh, Lord, I don't even think I ever watched that.
You have to watch this. You have to show the kids. I remember when I was younger, when my nephew was younger, and I showed it to him. I was so excited because I wanted to pass this experience on to him. Right. And he's like, this is Jim Henson that did the Muppets. So, we grew up on Jim Henson and the Muppets. Yes. And he saw it and he goes, oh, I can see it's this. He didn't like it because he could see the strings or whatever. And he grew up in an all digital. He grew up in the all digital. So I respect that. But I was appalled. I was like, but this is a classic. How could you not love this? It was like, it's so great. And
well, I can say this. My kids might be into all the newer stuff, but they do have an appreciation for
the classics,
the classic kind of stuff, because we watch, every year we watch, Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and
yeah, of course, yeah,
Charlie Brown Christmas and the Grinch. And when I say the Grinch, I mean like the original animated one
from like 66 or 67th, yeah,
and
Frosty the Snowman.
Not the Jim Carrey one, not the new one.
I didn't like the Jim Carrey one.
The Jim Carrey one it's okay.
It was a little too scary for younger kids. I remember taking my nephew. He was maybe 3 or 4 when that came out. Maybe he was older than that. He might have been older than that. He was actually a little scared, and hell, I was a little bit scared for him in the theater.
At the
time.
Growing up, I would have them watching He-Man and She-Ra and G.I. Joe, and they still like to watch that stuff a lot.
And now, out of your love of that, you're doing action figures on DigitalCavemann Presents.
I've been collecting ever since, I was like 4 years old, so if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah. You know what I'm seeing here in my collection, just looking? All the great DC DVDs and Blu-rays that I have of like their animated ones that they did to a certain point.
Oh, yeah, Lord.
They used to own that. You used to own that. Now DC has nothing.
Well, I don't know. Their animation is still pretty. It just depends on what it is.
It's hit and miss now.
Anytime it's Green Lantern, it's always a miss, it seems.
Yeah, we talked about the Green Lantern. I wanted the John Stewart one to be really good, and it wasn't.
I wanted to like that one.
I did too.
But I kept falling asleep.
Yep.
And then, they turn around and then they'll put out something like Gotham by Gaslight, which was fantastic.
That was very good. Yeah, you turned me on to that, and that's what I miss about, because I don't have Max anymore, or since it became Max or whatever, because we switched from Comcast when we moved up here to AT&T, much faster and cheaper internet, and
Right.
you know, still a pretty good amount of channels that I get, and in conjunction with like DirecTV that they have. But yeah, when I left Comcast, we lost our
Free subscription to Max.
HBO Max, and then it became Max. So at that time, so I do miss having all the DC stuff. But I thought I heard recently that a lot of that DC stuff might be going to another platform, that they made some deal with Tubi or something.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
They made a deal with Netflix.
Was it
Warner
Netflix?
Brothers made a deal with Netflix that
Okay.
but I think that just applied to the live action, you know, like the DCEU. I think that's what that applied
But something
to.
with the animation, they had made a deal. I thought it was with Tubi. That sounds weird. I don't even know that
They do. I think they did put some stuff on Tubi,
So maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
or it might have been the other free television service. I can't remember what it is.
I don't have all of them, but I should. Dun, dun, dun. This was my
You
show.
don't have all of the $6 million man.
I
I
feel-
can't say no. I don't have any of them. So
I thought I did, but for some reason, this is the pilot TV movies in season 1. I thought I did. Maybe I do, actually.
now, one thing I do have I won't say I have all of the Incredible Hulk movies. The TV, the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno, the TV specials.
You mean this? This is
Which one is that? That's Trial of the Incredible Hulk and
the
one with-
Incredible Hulk Returns.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was the one with Thor and the one with Daredevil, and they were both equally bad.
Oh God, they are. Look at Daredevil. Look at Daredevil on there. Can you see Daredevil?
Yeah,
Oh, there's Thor. There's Thor. Oops, I'm sorry. Daredevil's
they were
there.
Not good.
Yeah, and Thor's.
They were not good versions of
They were
it.
pretty bad. Yeah.
And you know, not that was the greatest version of the Hulk ever, but you know, at the time, that Lou Ferrigno was the only live action Hulk we had for a.
And that song, it hits every time you hear that song in the end when he's walking down the highway.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's not. I don't want you to get copyrighted for that. So.
Really? What are they going to take away? I don't have any. Were they take my 40 subs?
You'll have a strike. You'll have a strike on your record, man.
Oh man, that would be
Don't
bad.
want that.
Strikes are bad. Okay, nobody wants a strike. But
Oh man.
oh Lord.
Let's see. What other movies can we talk about?
Anyway, go to Netflix and watch Leave the World Behind.
Yes, it was actually a good movie,
Yeah.
and you know,
I was shocked when you actually got this. You'd finally seen it, because I was expecting that you weren't able
well, that
to.
was I just watched it today.
Was it just you that watched it? Did the wife get to watch it?
No. Wife and the kids watched it too. Well, except
And
for
the kids.
the youngest.
Right. Well,
He
yeah.
was kind of in and out,
Yeah, he's
but you know, they were all. Me and the wife were watching it, and the kids were kind of just like half doing
Half into it,
They were
yeah.
half watching it and half looking at their phones and computers and
whatever kids do
and
on their
whatnot,
phones. I
yeah.
don't know.
yeah.
TikTok, is that what the kids are
So-
doing? I don't know.
But I loved the ending, even though it wasn't super satisfying. I did love it. I thought that was the perfect place to just kind of pull the rug out from under everybody.
Well, at that point, I almost expected that was coming at some point. So usually they'll lead with that, but the fact that they didn't, that was kind of the cherry on the top for that. And if there isn't you can definitely see a continuation to like another film. And but if they left it there, that's also a great ending, like you said. Yeah.
Right.
Either way, So that was pretty cool. Oh, I'm proud of this. My sister got this for me. She was somewhere, I forgot where she was, and she saw this in probably a collectible shop, that has like old video game systems
Right,
and stuff.
right.
But a poster, Revenge of the Jedi. You can actually get shirts now. They're more readily available.
I have a shirt of that I had for a long time, but it was just the logo. It wasn't. It wasn't the whole poster or anything.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's weird, like physical media. We're talking about that. I don't want to get rid of mine. I really could use the room, but I don't want to. But I'm not going to buy any new physical media, even though I'm a proponent.
You purged your physical media one time already, and I ended up with a lot of it.
I did. I forgot about that. Now, that was a lot of my DVD? Well, it's probably mostly DVDs.
Yeah, it was a lot of your DVDs.
Because actually, you basically have, I think, everything that I already have on Blu-ray, but I have some that, of course, if it's Star Wars, I'm going to keep it. That's just how it is. Right. Or Star Trek,
there's certain things you got to have. You got to have your Star Wars. You got to have your Star Treks.
And they'll mean nothing to anybody I know.
The fifth element. You got to have the fifth element.
I do have that. I have it on Blu-ray. I don't know that I've ever opened it.
RoboCop.
The
original RoboCop.
I don't know
not the remake.
I don't know. I remember I've enjoyed RoboCop. I liked RoboCop. I don't know that I actually ever bought RoboCop. I wasn't into RoboCop as much. Because I think I kind of felt RoboCop was almost a ripoff of Terminator because of when it came out. And I've always been a massive Terminator fan since like day one.
And those, that's you got to at least have Terminator and Terminator 2.
Of course, I've got it.
Especially Terminator 2. And if you can find I don't want to say it's the director's cut. I don't think they call it the director's cut, but it's like an extended cut. And at least a copy that I had in DVD came in the steel case, and I think you have it too right there, don't you? Yeah.
I one time hit this on my head and it hurt.
And it's not a steel case. It's like a metal sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the booklet.
I want to say that one has like the extra scene in it where
it does.
They're repairing the chip, and she's going to destroy it, and
this is what's funny. It says new.
I want to say that version also has the film portions from Terminator 3D that they had in Universal Studios.
You just read my mind because it says on here, it has new on the back in red, and it says under documentaries, the making of T2 3D, breaking the screen barrier, in-depth look into the making of the MCA Universal theme park attraction Terminator 2 3D, battle across time with state-of-the-art technology and a seamless blend of film and live performances.
And that was actually not a bad show. It was actually a pretty good show.
Yeah. I actually saw a special about it, which is pretty cool. This has new trailers on here, which includes over 700 storyboards. The storyboards are awesome. And an entire screenplay is on here, which is pretty cool. I didn't realize that. It's a DVD-ROM, and technical features, it's in new. This is what year did this come out? This is new.
It runs on Windows 95.
Which year do you think this came out, this particular version?
That particular version, I want to say, was 97.
Close, 2000. I didn't know it was that late. But it has new Dolby Digital 5.1 Surround EX and new DTS 5.1 ES. So that was new back then in 2000.
Yeah.
And it has a really nice booklet with it, full of.
You know what? 2000 makes sense because I was at your store. That's when I was assigned at your store.
Right.
When we met.
Was it 2000?
Back in 99.
99.
So it makes sense that came out in 2000.
I think it's great for both of our loves of Star Wars that we should have met when the prequels came out. I feel that's kind of poetic.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's when it was, but I'm not done. Let's see. You opened up a Terminator box here, so.
Please don't bring Terminator 3 out.
I will. I'm not there yet, but here's T2 on Blu-ray from.
Yes, on Blu-ray.
What year is this?
And it probably has some of the same
Okay, what is
extra features on it, but I bet it doesn't have all of them.
MMVI would be 2005? No, it's 2006. VI
Yeah,
is
2006.
So 2006. That's the Blu-ray. I was so excited to get it on Blu-ray. And then I have this version. Oh my gosh, it's still got the Walmart sticker on it. So, and I did open it because I played it. This is This is in THX Master Audio 6.1. Dolby Digital Effects. MMIX. Is that 2009? Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
2009, the Blu-ray, the Skynet edition. What is this? Might have the extra scenes on it. It's got the storyboard script mode. It's got quizzes on it, games, picture in picture. Oh, so it's got Cameron talking during the film, the picture in picture commentary.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna lose all of that. I mean, I guess you'll still have it on digital.
Well, here's the thing, man. Even on the physical media, that kind of stuff isn't as prevalent as it used to be. You remember when DVD first came out? That was one of the big selling points of it, was that you had all this extra content in addition to the movie. And I'll tell you this: one of my favorite discs with extra features on it was Fight Club.
Yep. Because
they basically, when they took you behind the scenes of that movie, they were teaching you how to make a movie.
Oh yeah. It's well known for that. It's behind the scenes. This has the multiple versions on it, by the way. That version of T2.
I may have that version. I know I've got that steel cover.
Then we have to come forward in time, okay? And these are not open. And this one, I don't know how I had. This was probably part of something I got, but it says promo on it. It's got a promo sticker on it. Oh,
that was probably like one of the Black Friday.
Maybe it was. But I've never opened it. This is T3, Rise of the Machines. When it still felt like Terminator, it's kind of like how the prequels were still felt like Star Wars.
I don't love that movie, but I don't hate it. It's just kind of okay.
This one is open because I played it apparently, but this is what was going to be a trilogy, but didn't work out for the Dark Knight himself, Christian Bale. But him and Sam Worthington, Terminator Salvation. I thought this was a very good take on it, there were
parts of it that I liked, and then there were parts of it I did not like. And that movie was directed by McG.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a big deal at the time.
Oh, it was very big.
I don't know. I can't remember anything recently that he's
That's
done.
Like the last thing that was of any importance to me, that he directed.
The parts in that one I didn't like mainly was like the when they were out capturing the humans and the transport ships turned into giant robots. I was like, that's too much like Transformers. And I didn't like that, but overall, I would say it was a pretty good entry into the franchise because it gives us a look at the early stages of the war between humans and the machines before John Connor was even.
I thought it was inspired.
Major force behind it,
And it's still a good enough story that I still liked it within the world of Terminator. Now this one, the
whole thing with the heart, you can leave that part out.
It worked though. It felt as about as real if you had to put it in. Then if all that happened in real life, that felt like that was the most realistic telling of it.
And especially that's the only entry into Terminator that does not have to do with machines from the future traveling to the past to try and change history.
Right. And how about software? I thought actually software becoming the issue.
Is that Genesis?
This is Genesis. This is the one we always talk about. We liked it as a reimagining, but they ruined, like we always say, the trailer ruined it.
They killed that movie with the trailer.
Yeah, they gave it away.
That was dumb.
Yeah, they gave it away in the trailer.
Biggest surprise in the movie. Everybody goes in the movie and they already know.
Yeah.
That, spoiler alert, John Connor is the Terminator.
Now this was streaming. This particular show was well done at the time, and it still holds up. I've actually watched
the Terminator TV show.
Yeah, and
no, don't get me started on them 3 dots, man.
Yeah, well, this is only the first season, but this is still got the Walmart sticker on there when I got it. It looks like May of 08.
Like the first 2. That one ran 3 seasons, right?
I think so. Yeah, 3 seasons.
And the first 2 seasons were pretty good, and
right.
Then
when they got to the 3 light things,
the first season was short because that's how they were doing TV shows back then. They were only doing and
this was Fox, so Fox loves to cancel 13
episode orders for season 1s of shows just to see how they were going to do. And then I think season 2 was a full 22 episodes maybe.
I'm trying to see. It doesn't say
season 3. I think season 3 was only about a half a season 2.
Because this right here is season 1. This is unopened. It's still got the cellophane on it. So,
but I like the casting.
Yeah, there's a cool the Terminator.
They did. Yeah, Summer Glau is the Terminator.
And I'll always remember when she was on Big Bang Theory, came on there, and they were on the train and all that. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And oh god, what's her name that played Sarah Connor on there? And she went on to play
Lena Headley.
Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Lena Headley.
She was great.
She was good casting. Now the guy that played John Connor on that show, I don't even remember him. I do remember his uncle was Brian Austin Green.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, and I forgot one, of course. I have this.
You don't remember his uncle that got ended up going to the future?
I do remember. Yeah.
Right at the end of the damn show.
Now this is an older version or a newer version. I would say newer, as in 2003, but this is a DVD version of the special edition of Terminator.
But what was special about it?
I don't know. That's pretty cool on the cover there. Let's see. Oh, this is what's cool.
James Cameron wrote that music.
Here's what's interesting on a
little MIDI keyboard.
You know what? On this side right here is the 16:9 widescreen. And
the other side is the 4:3.
It's the special features, actually.
The special features.
So maybe the special features include that. I don't know. I have to look and see.
What, the 4:3? Nah, I think
Probably
by that
not.
time they were done doing 4x. Even TV was formatted in 16:9.
Let's see what's on here. They have some cool artwork there. I don't know if you can see some of that. Right now. Talks about the special effects, of course. Michael Biehn. And I saw, it didn't really say on here what's different about it, but I did see. Are you there? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sitting still. You thought I was froze, didn't you?
Well, it sounded like the sound went down or something. But yeah, I saw recently that when James Cameron was talking about when Arnold Schwarzenegger and him met to talk about it, he had to kind of convince him to do Terminator, and he wanted to play.
He wanted to play Reese.
He wanted to play Reese, and then, but when Schwarzenegger kept giving him all these things about the Terminator that he thought he should do a little differently, and he's like, well, you seem to really identify with this character. You ought to play the Terminator, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I feel like I have more Terminators, especially more T2s somewhere. But, so I have at least 3 versions of Terminator 2.
That last Terminator movie, I've only ever watched about half of it.
Which one?
The last one.
Dark Fate?
Came after Genesis, yeah, Dark Fate.
That's the funny thing, it got caught up because Tim, whatever his name that did Deadpool, said that, he played the woke kind of card on that. I wish he wouldn't have, because it kind of affected how the film did. But the film bombed, essentially. It made some money. It kind of made his money up overseas like movies used to do.
Right.
But the thing is, even the fan ratings on it were good. Nobody said it was a terrible movie, but because there were some things and it was strong female characters in there, and I thought it was well done. It was a kind of a reimagining in a way, and I thought it updated. I still think I enjoyed it, and
well, I've only watched about half of it. It's not because I didn't like it or anything. It's just like every time I go to watch it, something happens and I don't get to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. And it had the unfortunate that it came out.
My radar.
It came out around the same time that Dark Phoenix came out, and that was a big bomb for the 20th Century Fox for X-Men. And there was a bit of wokeness in that.
That one wasn't.
That wasn't a terrible film either.
I don't think it was horrible. No,
it wasn't horrible.
It was definitely, as trilogies go, it was a better Part 3 than The Last Stand. When the first time they tried to do.
Now The Last Stand. I've always said this, and I'll just reiterate this. I'll probably say this till I die. Not that I'm always defending it. I have to. It seems like, but. The Last Stand, I felt like if you had to put what the Phoenix Force was into like an everyday kind of situation, almost like a Terminator Salvation, that's how you would have done it. You would have made it like a psychological issue that she was having.
And, it's not.
And it makes sense that way. Even though it's not comic accurate, I understand.
Well, that kind of bothers me a little bit that it's not comic accurate. But I understand having to make change. But there was just so much other stuff that was junk in that movie, like the Juggernaut. And I understand that, they couldn't really do the Juggernaut justice because they kind of had to make him a mutant.
Well, rather than as much as I like Days of Future Past, I think that's probably one of the strongest of the X-Men 20th Century Fox films.
Yes.
But I don't like Kitty Pryde being the one having those abilities. I have a problem with her having the abilities that she does with Wolverine.
Well, in the comic books, she was the one who ended up going.
Right, but nobody would have cared to see her character go back. Of course, Hugh Jackman doing so well as Wolverine.
Well,
he drove that entire franchise. Him and Patrick Stewart, essentially, and Ian McKellen. Yeah.
But, I guess a lot of it has to do with me. If you watch the first two films, you can tell that, well, of course, it was Bryan Singer who was in charge of the stuff, and he was the director and the main force behind it and all that. You could tell that movie came from a place of love for the comics.
Right.
And of course, he got to go make the movie he wanted to make,
Superman Returns,
because he wanted to make his love letter to Richard Donner.
Which that wasn't a terrible film.
Most influential, whatever. And so, because of the scheduling, we got Brett Ratner to direct the third one, and I kind of feel like he didn't know the characters. He didn't care about the characters.
He didn't want to have a big Galactus robot.
It was a job for him.
Did you hear me? He didn't want to have a big Galactus robot.
Oh, no, that was that French dude.
Yeah.
I don't like giant robots. Let me slap the French out of you, fool.
That's what Galactus is. Don't bring in Galactus if you're going to bring him in as a cloud.
If you're going to do the smoke monster, just don't.
Yeah, don't. The smoke monster.
I think they learned an important lesson there.
Yeah.
But and then the reboots, or I won't say it was a reboot. I guess it was kind of a soft reboot when they did First Class. I enjoyed First Class, even though
I did too. The newer
most
cast,
of the characters that ended up being the X-Men were not well known to me.
Same here.
Off the wall.
I am excited over the moon. I've been for probably over a year since they announced X-Men 97, and I've seen the animation. The animation looks good. It looks updated. They're going to pick up and I hope Disney doesn't screw this up because it will really anger me. But they're going to pick up literally the next frame from when Xavier is taken off.
Ended.
Yeah. So they're literally going to pick up there and like what would happen, and that's exactly 100% what they should do.
Oh well, apparently the Executioner is going to be one of the characters featured in
Madeline Pryor
the animation.
Yes, Pryor.
Goblin Queen, because they just announced
and Cable's parentage. Jean is going to be, spoiler alert, is going to be pregnant in the first episode with Cable.
Yeah, but she's not Nate's daddy. I mean,
she's not. She's going to be pregnant.
She's not Nate's mama.
I think, but something's going to, maybe, I don't know who that would be then.
It'll end up that it's actually Madeline.
Probably spoiler
just like
alert.
in the comic books,
Right.
But yeah, they released, they showed off Wave 2 of the X-Men 97 figures on a live stream the other day. We had Goblin Queen. We had Magneto. I don't know if you remember in X-Men 200 when Magneto went on trial for sinking the Soviet submarine, and he was wearing like this.
I saw the outfit. I saw the outfit.
The big white M on it.
I saw that.
So that one, Goblin Queen.
You are my go-to person. I will be expecting when those episodes drop to be watching your unboxings of those figures or leading up to it.
I don't know. I'm not all in on that. I'm gonna.
I need you to, because I'm not going to.
Them. The Executioner, I really might pick up. The Magneto, I might pick up. And hopefully I can do a head swap on him with one of the previous releases of Magneto and give him a less animated look to it. But I've got probably the second week of January, after top 10 week, I do have Bishop from the X-Men 97 line.
I like that Bishop.
It's already in the bag. It's ready to go.
Fantastic.
So that one will probably be dropping the second week of January, which will be.
But I'm seriously, if you want to call it a request or a demand, I'm expecting.
And, I looked at that Magneto figure, and I don't know if you've looked at the one, the red and purple.
I haven't seen enough of them, but I did see the one you're talking about with the M.
It's got they did some shading around the eyes that looks really good, and I looked at that one, and if I didn't already have a pretty much classic Jim Lee style Magneto already, I'd definitely be picking that one up. And then the only other one that really interests me out of Wave 1 is the Wolverine. And mainly it's because, in the comic books, they didn't always do the fins on his mask. They weren't always real big, but in the animation, they were like, whoa.
Yeah, they could change them.
That figure has that look, and I'm thinking real hard about picking that one up.
You need to.
I don't know if I need another damn Wolverine.
You do.
I got like 50 Iron Mans and 25 Wolverines and like 18 Captain Americas and.
I guess we have to go to your Patreon or whatever you have and demand it there, right? Or whatever.
Oh, I need a Patreon. If I thought people would sign up and
you don't know till you try. You got enough followers, my friend. You've got what? How many followers now?
557. When I looked at it earlier.
You're only about 450-ish more than me.
Oh, only 400. It only took me like 3 years to get this point,
Yeah. But you've been grinding away every day at it, so.
Yes, I grind all the time. It's still sitting at 557.
Yeah.
My watch hours are up to 305 though.
Damn.
For
you're getting there.
I want to say the last 28 days. Yeah, last 28 days, 305.
You got 400 tablets in your house playing all simultaneously on a loop right after each other or whatever.
I'm sitting at 2195.
Damn.
Watch hours for the year. So
Well, it's not
the last
calendar
couple of
year,
weeks,
is it?
It seemed to pick up. Do what?
It's not calendar year, is it? Or is it?
I don't know. Mine may be calendar year because I started in January. 3 years ago in January.
Wow. Seriously, you've been doing videos for 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
So you started during the pandemic.
This is I started right after. I started in 21.
Oh, okay. 22, 23. Okay.
I wish I had started it during the pandemic because, I people were at home, people were bored. I might have picked up some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up a bunch of followers
I know
then.
A lot of people did. They picked up subs and
then
and stuff like that.
I should have been building Geek Homeworld, and I wasn't on YouTube. Then at the first, I was building up Savannah on Film, which got very popular, and it's pretty much on a hiatus. But I should have been focusing on the other as well. I focused
during 2020. It was basically just an idea that was kind of percolating around.
Yeah.
In my brain, and I finally decided to do it, and I said, I'll start in January.
Yeah, and you kind of caught me by surprise when you did your first live stream. I was a little upset. I was like, wait a minute, now he won't come on my podcast. He's too busy, but he can do this. And I'm like, I was happy for you, though.
It wasn't nothing like that. It was just
I know.
The way it was formatted, I guess. And I actually like, the last couple of live streams that we did, I actually like doing it better with the co-host component.
Well, it brings a little bit more in there. It does. As long as you keep control of the content, you're the ringmaster of things. From the way I do it, So
that again, I like doing that better. And
well, for you and me, things work a lot better conversational, I think. So we're similar in our styles, and in some ways. In some ways, we're different.
Yeah.
But that's our strength.
True.
And
yes, we complement each other.
We'll go with compliment. That's a good word.
But if you say you complete me, I'm going to reach through here and slap you.
I'll go Deadpool or something like that. Which Deadpool? I swear, if Disney fucks up, if they screw up Deadpool 3,
that's a strike.
I got all these followers now, and now they're all gone.
I looked at it today. You're up to 43.
I know that sounds like something, but it's slow growth because I haven't really focused it.
It is slow growth, but when
I just got to be committed more.
I don't want to make this sound like it's a negative thing, but you've kind of let Geek Homeworld sit there and stagnate a bit.
I have because other things in life have come up and career changes, moving,
and you have to watch out for that. Even though the year before when I was in, I had that issue and I had to go in the hospital, and I was kind of, I missed.
You were nutting up, you were nutting up about
I was missing 2 weeks of content, and I was losing subs left and right, man. It was. And that was just 2 weeks.
I decided I got to a point where I was chasing the subs and chasing all that for a while. And now I don't chase it anymore. It's going to happen organically. I do want it to happen. I would love to get monetized. That would be great.
And, I completely agree with you. I'm not really chasing anymore. Do I check it a lot? Yeah, I do still look at it a lot because.
But it's about.
You get that serotonin rush.
You do.
You get new subscribers or you get a comment or.
But I'm not going to let this rule my life. When I have time that I'm maybe retired down the road, maybe, who knows, or whatever, that I can, put a lot of time in this. For me, I'm very much with other people. I mean, I like hosting and doing my own stuff and running all of this and all, but I get more from like our live streams. I've thoroughly enjoyed the live streams you've let me be on, and you being on here, I'm very thankful for you making the time, because when I've got somebody else to interact with, that makes it fun.
It does. It gets kind of when it's just one person,
right?
And there's nobody to bounce anything off of.
I grinded away on Geek Homeworld on more on the audio side, of course. That'll always be a component because I'm audio podcaster first, and then this video is been a harder learning curve for me. But for me, it's about, that creation and that I forgot what I was going to say. But just doing the audio portion is more important than the video to me. And I know the video is what sells and it's what I watch and, it's what I consume too.
And here's the thing though, dude. Once because this next semester in school, you're going to be taking a video editing.
It's probably, it's going to, I'm slowly building my skills. I know Photoshop now, and I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but I know
when I first started this, the one thing I hated, and it's still not my most favorite thing to do, is editing the video. Mm-hmm. And I ain't going to say I'm the best at it because I don't cut stuff down. However I film it, that's how it goes in there. Now, there may be some times like at the end, I forget to hit the stop button and there's a lot of just like dead air at it, and I might cut that out. Yeah. When I notice it.
Well, I'm going to pivot.
But as far as if I'm in a 5-minute segment and I'm in filming it 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and right at the end I screw something up,
it's going to be in there.
Really, really bad, it's in there.
You were like me.
I kind of need to work on that some. I need to work on cutting the length of my videos down because I've had several comments lately that stuff was just way too long. And when you got
it's people's attention spans
too. An action figure review that's 45 minutes long. Chances are people aren't sticking around till the end.
Right.
Of the video.
Well, if I watch one of yours, I unless it's something extenuating, I stick around to the end.
Same here.
Or I'll even leave it on. Even if I'll go in the other room, I'm still watching.
But it's less of a chore now to do the editing now that I've been doing it for a while. And I'm much, much better at the chroma key. I've got to readjust my lights or something because something is off with the chroma key now. And I think it's when I got these bigger lights to light up the screen, back of the screen. I put some more lights in the front, and I think that's what's throwing it off. So I got to figure out how
your
to
light balance could be off. Yeah,
it's making too many shadows. That's what's going on. It's too many shadows.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this stream, and I just saw somebody dropped off, and so this person won't hear it unless they come back almost into our third hour to watch the live stream. But like I've been I'm studying to be a graphic designer, and so we'll see how successful I become with that. I plan to be a new career. I'm excited about it and taking classes for it, and I've got another year of study to master that. But I've learned Illustrator this past semester and the one before, Photoshop, two programs I was extremely scared of and intimidated by that I'm so much more comfortable in now. And if I get into the basic video editing, like in January when I start my next semester of classes, that's something I really wanted to take because I know all these things, even besides the business aspect, they will help me with my podcast and they'll help me on the video side, the visual side of stuff.
Right.
That doesn't come, I think, visually, but I don't have enough practice in that. And so I'm getting that knowledge. And like with the podcast, it has kind of sat there and meandered, and believe me, there's many days I feel like a total waste, like I'm wasting every breath because I'm not constantly. We talked about this, but when you're creative and you're not creating or making a video, you're thinking about what video you could be making when you're not doing it. And like this live stream, I mean, I was very meticulous on a lot of my content, and then I've just not had the time to really devote to it in the last year. And I even thought about ending the podcast, but then I'm coming up on 10 years and I don't want to end it. But I am open to rebranding. We've been talking for a while when I got into school, you and I, about, you helped me with some designs possibly for a new logo and some ideas. And so I'm really going to dive in 2024 into, by September 7th, I think it'll be 10 years of the podcast here. I want to, by that point, be rebranded and it may be a much leaner ship, because compared to Man Cave was kind of like this live stream is.
It was everywhere, all over the place, all the time.
Yeah,
and,
it was.
We had
total chaos, and it was fun.
Let's see if we can remember. First of all, we started it up. We did an intro where we rambled on for about 30 minutes.
Right.
Then we'd move on to the movie segments that you would start out, because you would always research the numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would be the opening story, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then we would kind of discuss certain movies here and there, and then we would
each of us would have different things we'd want to talk about.
Tech stuff, or if there was some video game news.
Yeah, because we were all gamers back then, and hardcore gamers.
Oh man, I remember
Crackdown
when I did the breakdown of E3 one year.
Oh my God, that was.
I watched all of E3 on G4 back in the day. And I took a bunch of notes, and I did a whole breakdown on it. And I think we did. I think that was the only thing we did during that episode, because there was just so much.
It was so much to cover, and we were all into it hardcore, because we were all watching G4 and when it was good.
Speaking of E3, did you see that they're no longer going to be putting on the show?
That's what I heard. Yeah,
the Consumer Electronics
is gone.
The group that put on E3, they're still going to be a group. They're still going to be advocating for stuff. They're not putting the show on anymore.
It's just not.
Apparently, it's just not happening.
It's just not
physically at physical locations.
Well, COVID changed a lot of things, and now stuff is just digital, and it's easier and it's cheaper to do it digitally. And remote.
Yeah, I know. If I was Microsoft and I could do a live stream on a little small set and not put on parties and after parties and pre-parties
and rent a space and all that stuff, whatever you do,
and rent the
caterers.
space out, and I can do that much simpler on a small set, built on site, and stream it, and the same people are going to be watching it.
Why not?
It makes more sense to do it that way.
For me,
even like the New York Toy Fair, that was the big show every year. That's where all the toy companies would come to show their wares off to retailers.
Right.
And take orders and stuff. And they're still having the show, but at a much reduced capacity, because you have like Hasbro, they're doing live streams, or they call them fan streams, announcing new products and when pre-orders are coming, and we've got this in the pipeline, and they're doing all this stuff, and I'm sure it's much, much cheaper, because I don't know if you noticed in the news or not, they just started laying off 1,100 people.
Well, they're blaming that on Disney.
They were laying off 1,100 people starting this month.
Disney and Marvel, they're blaming that on because the toys, but it's more like we talked about. It's more of a generational thing. People aren't buying the toys.
The toys do not drive movie tickets. They don't drive ticket sales.
And comics don't either. Comics don't either.
Ticket sales drive the merchandise. It's that simple. Because even if you look at it, even with Star Wars, you go back to the old Kenner days during the original trilogy release, when Return of the Jedi ended, or when Return of the Jedi came out and the original trilogy was ended, was about the same time that, within like 2 or 3 years, Kenner's contract with Lucasfilm was coming to an end.
Right.
And, after Return of the Jedi, they found it increasingly hard to, sell Star Wars, because there was no media to support it. And I want to say, you know, after Return, there was very little Star Wars after that point. You know, we had the Droids cartoon, and we had the Ewoks cartoon, which was, you know, based at towards smaller kids, was the audience for that, like 5 and 6 year olds. And then you had the two Ewok live action movies. And after Return of the Jedi, that was the only media for Star Wars there was. So Kenner found it increasingly difficult to sell toys with no media support.
True, very true.
And some of the stuff that they had designed, you know, they were building a whole story arc for after Return of the Jedi. And you had these extra galactic aliens were coming in to invade, and which was an idea that's later used in the expanded universe. And some of the character designs and stuff were used later in other media too. Like, I don't know if you remember in the Dark Horse comics, the Dark Empire, where Luke basically joins up with the reborn Emperor. Another thing from the expanded universe that comes back into the main media. But there was like, the Emperor had these royal guards that were red like the original ones from Return of the Jedi, but they were more armored, and I think they called them Sentinels. Maybe, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've looked at that. But the designs in the comics for that were based on that post Return of the Jedi arc that Kenner had planned. They had looked at that artwork, and you know, they pulled that design and used it in the comics.
Well, you know, like for me, kind of related to that, I was kind of saying earlier, when the pandemic hit and the movie theaters shut down, one of the main things I would always talk on here is box office. I talk about films, and all of a sudden there was no film industry to talk about.
There was nothing to talk about.
And then, you know, and everything else was so dire, and everything happening with everything going on, and it was just a weird time, and it changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And it was just, you know, when that wasn't there, it's hard to create content when that was kind of my niche, you know. And
yeah.
And the thing is, so like with Geek Homeworld, what I was going to say, and nobody's around, and we're 3 hours in, which we're going to have to bring this to a close. But yeah,
after midnight.
Yeah, I plan on bringing in other people to collaborate with and do different things, and I mean, I'll see what it becomes. You know, who knows? I may end the podcast and start something new. Who knows what 2024 is going to bring? I may, you know, looking with a fresh set of eyes, but I still want to always podcast. I want to have this vehicle, and I have everything, you know, systematically in place. I don't feel like going back and starting and changing, rebranding and changing a name and going through iTunes and, you know, or Apple and all that stuff. You know, it's probably easier now than it used to be.
You know, that was something that I thought really hard about when I started my channel, was what can I call it that I'm not stuck doing one thing if I want to do other things on my channel as well, you know, because you call it toy reviews or, you know, this, that, and the other. But I didn't want to call it something that was going to stick me in doing only one thing, even though that's basically all I do.
That's smart. Yeah, that's very true.
Right now. But I wanted to name it something that I could, you know, when and if I wanted to branch out from doing one thing, you know, I could do other things. And that's when DigitalCavemann Presents, so I can present whatever I want.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not.
It's wide enough.
I'm not
and see,
stuck to one thing.
That's my whole idea of Geek Homeworld. I always kind of pushed against when everybody was niching down. I went wider because sometimes I want to talk about tech. Sometimes we used to talk about tech, a lot, and phones and video games. And so I would, just have segments. And I may go back to something like that. But like when we did Geek Homeworld compared to Digital Man Cave, I purposely made shorter episodes. Now, I'm obviously with a 3-hour live stream, I'm not adhering to that. But I got it down to like no more than 30 minutes and just, something like that. And, people could digest it on their way to work or home or during lunch or something, And so I may do something like that. But then, like all these shows came out and I was gonna, with the streaming during the pandemic and like all the Disney Plus shows, and I did a few like with Loki, the first season of Loki, but then it was hard to do a podcast every single week and be on it every single week and have something different to say about it. And there were other people that I thought were doing it better, that had better visual capabilities, YouTube and so it's kind of backed away from some of it, but I was actually more busy with life and what was going on in life outside that, and that's what you have to do when you have a family. You have to pivot from different things and, you do what you got to do. And it changes, it's not always.
But the one thing that I probably enjoy the most about having my channel and creating content and stuff is it gives me structure.
Yeah.
And I really need that sometimes, that, otherwise I'll just be sitting on my behind watching TV and eating bonbons all day.
Oh gosh.
So I know that used to be a running joke on the Digital Man Cave.
Oh gosh, right. Oh gosh, eating bomb. Oh god, you're right. Yeah, I was like, where did I hear that? Was that Married with Children? I can't remember.
I don't.
Where do we get that from?
I don't
South
know.
Park. Who knows?
It just came up one time and it kind of stuck and was a recurring.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that took me way back.
I do need it. I do need that structure.
But there was a while there where because of, family things, you weren't able to podcast like you used to. And that,
right.
And so it kind of forced me in a good way. It forced me to kind of branch out on my own and do some things that eventually led to me branching out even more, doing Savannah on Film. And so I was doing Geek Homeworld, Savannah on Film, and I was grinding away at all those things, doing a radio show, which was and a podcast, and keeping those up. And the pandemic was a great creative time, but it was, it was the good and the bad, and a lot,
Yeah.
And it's just hard to keep that grind going, and then I had to, get back to work.
Tell me, man, I'll tell you, you just don't know how tempted I am. Just take some time and.
Eventually, DigitalCavemann Presents will be so big that you'll have other guest hosts that can come in and do a week for you of videos.
There's people that can do stuff for me when I take a vacation.
Well, I intend to try to help you.
Oh, but man,
with some video
big news that happened. Yeah. A big announcement Saturday, and I know you probably don't keep up with this, and probably nobody that's watching this keeps up with it either, because nobody's watching right now. But
yay.
But one of the big toy news outlets that I watched a lot was the weekly of the Fwoosh Weekly.
Uh-huh.
And they just did Saturday, the last Fwoosh Weekly. Robo announced that, he's the one that hosts everything. He announced that he was leaving the company to pursue his own agenda because the companies apparently didn't match up anymore, or something to that effect. So that was really, kind of a shock that,
Okay.
But I saying that, I don't know what all's behind the scenes. I don't know where the
was it of his own accord?
Is happening. Do what?
Was it his decision or?
Yeah. It was his decision apparently. At least
to kind of step away from things.
That's what was announced. He's like, the company wants to go one direction. I want to do other things. And so, because you don't follow.
He
was one of the founders.
Yeah.
Of that company, and
you don't follow Star Wars Theory, but he has. I
don't follow him, but I do watch him from time to time.
He's totally burned out on Star Wars now, but he's changed the direction of his channel.
How long has he been doing weekly content on Star Wars?
Brilliantly for like several years.
Doing one or two episodes a week for.
And he's been
years, and I.
But what I was going to say, all I was going to really say about that is that there's a guy that he was podcasting with, or on YouTube or whatever, in his channel, and I think it might have been another like offset of Star Wars Theory, and that guy had to step away for personal reasons, and they have been just clicking like that, and he just had to step away, creatively because he had stuff with his personal life he had to deal with, and so that's understandable, and and that's the grind. I went through the imposter syndrome and the burnout. I think we all go through, and and other things. And that happens when you're in the game this long. Like some of the podcasters that I follow, there's like Dave Jackson. He's been doing it since like 2003 or something. Like he was, I think, one of the first podcasters. Cliff Ravenscraft's still out there doing his stuff. 2024 will be 16 years I've been podcasting, and I haven't put out as many episodes. I mean, I've been stuck around the 160s for about a year. It's like so. But I've done other things. I've spun out Exploring with Us that we probably will bring back in 2024 when the wife gets a little bit better with her new knee and we're able to go exploring again. We may bring that back, and that's always a short form kind of thing. She keeps me on track because she would never allow a 3-hour.
Yeah, she does a much better job of that than I do.
And so there's I was doing that content, and then we had like your live stream on there that I featured on here, and that was something I had talked about this in 2023. I was trying to branch out more, like under the Geek Homeworld umbrella. We were trying to think of a way we could
kind of
combine our stuff together, but without losing our individual identities and what we're doing, because I certainly don't want to taint what you're doing with my stuff, and vice versa. But trying to figure that out, and actually figuring if this were a real job, I could that really paid, then I could definitely putting the time towards it. But now that I'm embarking on another career, I'm going to have less time, and so the time that I do spend it's going to force me in a good way, I think, to focus. Like I don't always have to make content, but when I make content, it's got to be content that's potent, and it's like direct. I'm going to have to be much more direct.
And to the point.
And to the point, yeah.
Short
and this in no way is an attempt, this live stream, if you're watching this is not indicative of the content I make.
This is just two old men having a conversation.
Yeah, this is just, And if this were a regular conversation, I wouldn't be this gracious and let you talk as much.
Yeah,
I would talk over you.
That is true.
But yeah, this is fun, and this, I've kind of missed a little bit of that because we don't actually get to see each other that much. We live in different cities. We have for years.
We live too far apart now. It's not like the days when you could take about an hour and 15-minute drive up the road.
Now I don't know if it's 2 hours. I don't even know how far I live away from you at this point.
I want to say it's about 2 hours and a half, something like that.
Because you're like the other direction, or are you?
Yeah, I'm southwest of you.
You're southwest of me, and the family that I have is southeast of me, down in Savannah. So I'd have to. So it's not really like I travel by you to get there necessarily.
No, you don't even come close.
Yeah, I used to come that way, but not really. But so, yeah, I guess I didn't. So, But yes, I don't know. That makes it a little bit difficult. I mean, I don't know that we'll see each other we probably won't see each other for Christmas. I mean,
Probably
we hadn't
not.
made any plans. I mean, I don't.
I'll tell you, they have that Joe Fest convention up there in your area, and
When is that?
almost Joe Fest.
When is that?
Oh, I'll have to look. I don't know if they've got it on the calendar for 24 yet, but I want to say usually it's like in like the first part of summer, the first part of convention season.
Yeah.
Is when they hold that.
We got our tickets, my friend Scott and I. Scott, who's on the podcast, Scott.
Yeah.
We got our Def Leppard Atlanta tickets. Def Leppard with, he's not seen Def Leppard before, and he knows how massive a Def Leppard fan I am. So he said he's going to enjoy being at the concert with me because how much I'll love it. It'll be my second concert of theirs in Atlanta. But they're the one people I haven't seen that's touring with them is Steve Miller band. So they're actually pretty good. I've never seen this. He's been to a Steve Miller concert. I haven't. I will love, Steve Miller, Joker, or all the Take the Money and Run songs. I think I'll enjoy that. And then somebody else is touring with them. I can't remember, but we booked our tickets. And we try to get similar seats. Yeah.
All right. Who all is it now?
It's Steve Miller, Def Leppard with Steve Miller, and somebody else.
Is it Journey?
It is Journey. Thank you. Now, it's not Journey with Steve Perry, but their singer, I've heard him, and he's pretty good.
Well, they're is it the same replacement singer they used back in the 80s?
I think it is.
Because
he's very good.
Exactly like Steve Perry, but he's
close enough. He's like the guy in Chicago that replaced Peter Cetera. Sounded like Peter Cetera. He was close enough.
Right.
And so, but yeah, so I'm excited we got our tickets. So that's in June.
And that's in Atlanta, right?
And that's in Atlanta. So that's going to be a hot part of the summer like Leopard was last year. So I'm excited for that. Whatever's happening in June, I don't care. That better not be finals or anything for me. I'll be really pissed off.
It is. You're going to have a final the next day.
I will. I probably will. And, I told you on my grades I was excited. I made A's.
Yeah, you sent me the pictures.
So, and on my computer class, I could have made A. I could have been all straight A's. I ended up with a high B, but we had like an hour and a half to do the final proctored exam, and I did mine in like 20 minutes or so. I don't know why. I wanted it to be over with, and I was like, a lot of stuff is fresh in my mind. I'm not going to be how I am and usually think about it. And I was like, I'm just going to, whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to say, well, that's it. And because I can second guess myself, and I didn't want to do that. And I was like, I'm just going to.
See, it's good not to do that. They always say when you're taking a test, go with your first.
So this time I really lived that. I've never really done that much because one time I did and it didn't turn out well. This time it didn't turn out as well as I thought. I did well on the test, but I could have done much better.
You thought you could have done better, yeah.
Yeah, but
if only I'd have changed those 12 answers.
Yeah, and the test happened to be a multiple choice, and it's a computer class, and if you would have gave me the screen where I could click on it and go to it, I could do it. But it's like. But you're supposed to know the terminology, and I knew the stuff enough. And I mean, I did very well through the entire course. That it gave me a big buffer, and I purposely did that. Like made sure that because I really want to learn everything, and I've learned a lot. So it's weird. There was so much when we covered Microsoft Word at one point during the computer class. All these years, I've not known these paths of how to get there. I just know from learning,
like the little shortcut, the keyboard shortcuts, and all that crap.
And there's so many things
I don't know any of that stuff either.
Might have helped me years ago when I really needed that program, but I'm like, okay, and now I have.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like when I was in high school, we had like 12 computers in the entire school.
Wow.
And they were Apple IIe's.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
And there was you take a class that's basically two classes. The first half of the class was test taking skills, to prep you for the SAT. It was SAT prep, test taking skills. And so the second half was computer programming. And, that's where you learn the GOTO and you learn about garbage in, garbage out, and
True.
and all that good stuff. So, things have changed by leaps and bounds because, my kids in high school now, they don't even have books anymore. They just have computers.
That's crazy.
I
wish we had that.
In the high school, they assign them a computer, and they have to keep up with it until they turn it in.
Well, I become the cliche that's on the thing where the guy prints the internet. Like when I took my classes, ironically, I'm in computer class or was in computer class, and I found I ended up printing a lot of stuff because I like having the physical copy and like looking at the assignment. Even though I've got it on the screen, and this is what's even worse, I ended up buying the book. So now I have it for reference because I bought the book and I put it in one of those big old binders.
Let me guess. It wasn't even a book with covers on it. You had to put it in a binder. It was it had the holes in it already.
Yes. Thank God I had the holes in it. I thought I'd have to put the holes in it. But I have that binder if I ever need it. I've got that to reference it, which is great. And that's why I wanted it. But it also helped me to visually see that. And even though I had the entire book digitally, part of me, before I thought about this, I want to have a physical copy of this. So if I ever need to reference this, and if I'm not in that class anymore or something, I'll have this as a physical thing that I can reference if I have a question and maybe a program.
Because that's the kind of learner that you are.
Yeah. I'm a hands-on. You can tell me all day. I got to learn by doing. I got to do it.
But I have to do it. I have to see it.
I'm a tactile learner. Yes, very much.
Right.
Yeah. So, and different people learn different ways, and so, I'm glad that I have that. I physically have that. So, that's been very helpful. So, it's nice to have tangible things like I can draw that into the whole conversation when we're talking about having our physical media that we, whenever some of what we had, because you physically have it, you'll always have it, and as long as you have a way to play that media, you're good. But, one day when there's no more Xboxes or everything is all digital, it's a cloud.
Everything is a set-top box.
Yeah, then
that you download off the internet.
That's when you want to get rid of it and it won't be worth anything.
But here's the thing though, dude, up until a few years ago, you could still go to Walmart and buy a VHS player.
True. Yeah.
You might not could get a recorder. I don't think you can buy the recorders anymore.
No.
But you can go get a player. You can still go to Walmart and get you a DVD player.
Did I tell you I saw a video of a guy playing? He takes his cassette out and he called it like Def Leppard ASMR and took the cassette out of the little cassette thing and it makes that little clicking plastic sound, and he put it in. He had a whole rack system like I know you had that. You probably still do. I probably had some of mine. A friend of mine I gave my amplifier away to. I wish I could have kept that, but it couldn't do DVD or anything, so I had no use for it. But yeah, to have that, you'd have it there, and then you have the one that's the equalizer, or whatever. I can't remember on the rack system, but he put it in the rack system, and he was playing a Def Leppard tape, and I was like, or Hysteria or something like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That hits you in the...
I had a big stereo, but I didn't have a component system.
Right,
well, I'll take it back. It had two components. It had a CD player was one component, and then the other component was dual tape decks, record player, radio.
Hey, we're gonna try a quick experiment here on your StreamYard. Do you have over there where it says banners and it says brand? Do you have a tab that says brand?
No.
What do you have? Comments? I have comments, banners,
I have
brand.
Private chat, comments. Tells me I'm in the show. Mute, stop cam settings, present, leave studio, having issues. Let me see what's under here. Remove from stage, edit name and headline.
Yeah, I was just looking here to see if I had anything for you there. All right. But I have a thing called brands over here. And if you noticed, I kind of changed, like, there's classic, bubble. I'm changing the theme. This is under the brand tab. I also have minimal, just kind of cool. And then there's block. And I added this thing.
How's that?
You found it, okay.
I found that.
And that, you see, I turned, you found that? Okay, that was under brand. So that's show headlines.
No, actually, on my end, it's where it shows, it's got the little picture in the left corner.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a little 3-dot menu thing on there. It's under there.
Oh, okay.
It's got remove from stage, edit name and headline, edit audio avatar.
Well, I turned on the thing that said show headlines. That's this part that I turned off there while we were talking, if you noticed. So I kind of put that in there. So we could put that in there, or you could put your, next time we stream or whatever, you could put DigitalCavemann Presents or something. You've got it there already. Right. And also that's kind of cool. I don't know. I was just playing with some of the free things in there. Anyway, that's when you can tell we're bored in the stream. We're playing around with the features of it, right?
But that's how to learn them, man.
Yeah, that's how we learn. But so I'm excited for 2024, and so I was gonna put a call to action out there for people if people were interested and they wanted to reach out to me via Twitter or X or whatever it's called. Geek Homeworld, you can hit me up there, that's probably the best way to hit me up. I'll see the message, or on Instagram, Geek Homeworld, which I don't really do anything with Instagram. I need to. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the podcast and how I'm going to celebrate it as well.
The thing about doing something on Instagram is you got to have a picture to go along with it.
Yeah. That's true.
And so threads may actually work better.
Yeah, I just don't. That feels just like more work that I have to do. I need to basically get back to, which I don't think they'll let you do it without paying for it now. But the program I've used before, where you could send it out to different things, they won't let you do that. The Facebook got all proprietary.
Like TweetDeck and
TweetDeck. Yeah, that was it.
Where you put it in one time and it sends it out to everything. Yeah.
I love that, man. That's when I was rocking. My numbers were good, and So, I don't know. I'm a little less excited about the prospect of adding on another service that I don't have time to look at, And
I said, threads, basically I'll go in and drop a link, and that's pretty much it. I will look at it occasionally. I'll scroll through it. I scroll through Instagram a lot more than threads because, most of what I'm following
is on Instagram.
On Instagram is photography type stuff, so.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's where most of your stuff is, so you would naturally gravitate towards Instagram. Because you've done Instagram Lives.
They're basically, I feel like they're trying to kill Instagram. And because it's like with photos, you hardly get any traction at all.
Really? Yeah, I've not gotten much traction on my Instagram, to be honest.
It's like they want you to do reels. And
I don't do a lot of live content that way. Maybe I should, but I don't.
Tell you, I don't get much more traction with reels than I do with photographs.
It's a good point.
Now I have my diehard followers on Instagram, and they'll generally drop a like on whenever I drop something on there.
Right.
But as far as growing it or anything like that, nah, it ain't happening.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I will tell you this, man, before we end this, and we'll end it on this note, I guess.
Yeah.
I saw a thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I got a notification about a series or something he's doing.
No. This is a speech that he gave.
Oh, okay.
Or a part of a speech that he gave, and he was talking about, working. And basically what he said was work your ass off and then tell people about it. Work your ass off and advertise. Work your ass off and let everybody know. And I think that's good advice, especially in this field where we're trying to grow something.
I think we do it backwards, don't we? We do it backwards, don't we?
He's not bragging. He says, it's not bragging. It's, hey, I did this. I wanted you to know about it.
Because a lot of creators get into this, especially on YouTube or in Instagram, and we do it backwards, and we say, oh, well, come and see what I'm going to do, not look at what I've done. Once you have something, a product that's complete, something that you've done, you've got that complete, you've got that done, then people will come back and follow your content, because they'll see, like with you, that you've got, 700 videos? You do a video every day, pretty much.
No, it's not that high yet. I think I finished the videos for the year, which is this week and next week. And I want to say that puts it in 630 something.
Well, I definitely say, some of the what you were planning on, some live streams to do, I definitely want to be part of that. It might, if it doesn't fall and I can't make it, because of Christmas and when we're actually getting to celebrate Christmas with family, if possible, if that still works out. It's hard getting schedules to coincide when people live in 3 different cities and such. But
that is true.
Yeah,
634 will be the last episode of the year on December the 29th.
So how many was that? 325 episodes this year, or how many? 352.
300 and something episodes this year. I did not miss anything. No weeks, no days. So I dropped 5 videos for 52 weeks.
Damn. That's a success right there. That's a victory. That calls for victory lap.
Woo.
That's a lot of damn content. Imagine though, if you talked about shortening your videos instead of 45 minutes, like if it was a 30-minute video, just taking 15 minutes off it per video.
That's where most of them end up. Like the 45-minute video or an hour-long video. Yeah, that's a rare exception. Usually it's about 30 minutes. Sometimes I can shave it down, a few minutes off of that. It just, honestly, it depends on what I'm looking at and how much blabbering I do.
Hell, I mean, you could even challenge yourself.
If I could cut down stuff to about 15 minutes.
That's what I was about to say. If you could challenge yourself to 15.
I just don't know if I can do it.
Well,
especially like if I'm doing a Transformer review.
Right.
There's just so many extra steps in that.
In the articulation.
Regular action figure review. Because when I'm doing a regular action figure review, I have the title sequence, and then I have 6 to 7 segments. With a Transformers video, it's all that plus 3 or 4 more segments, because due to transformation and showing that off, and then taking another look at the thing either in its vehicle or robot mode, depending on what it is.
Right.
And some of the transformations takes a little longer than others, and some are pretty quick. So
yeah, but yeah, 15 minutes would really be rushing. You'd really have to stay on point. You'd have no time, and then depending how your intro isn't that long, and your outro or whatever aren't that long.
Well, my
but it would be too
intro
crunched.
is about 30 seconds, and then
That's good.
My opening is about 30 seconds. I try to keep it to about 30 seconds because I took all of the like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I took it out of the first segment and I put it all at the end, which is probably not the best place for it, but I couldn't figure out how to work it in with the other stuff, So
you have your DigitalCavemann Presents niche down, or you're in that sweet spot where you can manipulate it in a good way, to make it even tighter ship. But you had it kind of like where I had Savannah on film. I have totally kind of mastered that to the extent that it could run. Every show could run back to back, and it would just be consistent.
Right. And because I pretty much have my stuff down in formulaic fashion, even though I don't script it or whatever. I have specific things that I do in every episode, and that's and that works. It helps me stay a little more focused than say what we're doing right now, that I know, I have to do this section, I have to do this section, I have to do this section. I have a list of everything that I have to do, and as I do it, I'll check it off just to make sure that I'm getting everything done before I sit down and start editing. Because I get to start editing, and I was like, God dang it, well, I didn't do that part. So now I got to stop what I'm doing and go
do that
and get this done so I can get the whole thing done. And that really aggravates, especially like if I'm getting in my groove with the editing.
There were parts like at some point in Geek Homeworld, I started doing little segments, and I would record them individually. And we talked about splitting things up into smaller portions, and then you kind of piece them together. I would edit them together seamlessly.
And see, that's what I do is, I film in segments. So, I have specific things that I'm filming during, like if it's, say a Marvel Legends, I'll have my opening, then I'll roll my credits, which is basically, I have a template for my credits. So all I have to do for that is drop in the title card for that video and then export it, which, that takes hardly any time to do that. So it really works out. And when you get in that video class, man, templates. If it's stuff you're going to be doing over and over and over and over and over, make a template for it with just the pieces that need to be changed out to where you can change them out.
Right.
And
that makes a lot of sense.
That's what I do. I film everything in segments. And it helps me because a lot of times I do batch recordings.
Yeah.
So I'm working on 3, 4, 5 things at a time. And I try to film it like with my newest segment, from the toy box, where I take older stuff that I don't have the packaging for most of the time anymore. When I'm doing one of those, that's a whole segment that I'm not having to do. I'm not having to cover that packaging segment. So what I can do is film everything for, say, the 5 things I'm working on. Anything that requires the turntable. Once I get the turntable set up and I get the camera set up for that, and I get the lights set up for that, everything that I have to do for the turntable, I'll go ahead and do, which is the opening, the comparisons, and the final thoughts. Then once I get all 5 of those done, or for each of the 5 figures, all the turntable stuff done, I'll pull the turntable out and I'll readjust where necessary with the camera and lights and whatnot. And then I'll do like covering a look at the figure and the articulation and you know, and
it's all a process.
That works out sometimes. Sometimes it gets where like I'm trying to do 5 and I'm trying to do it in a day. And, you know, by the end of it, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this. And even though, you know, the filming to me is the most enjoyable part. So,
anyway, creating is the best part.
It's almost 1 o'clock. I got to go.
I got to go too. Yeah.
I've been yawning for an hour.
I bored you to death. I'm glad. Anyway, so check out.
It was fun.
Yeah. Check out DigitalCavemann at DigitalCavemann Presents.
You can see my stuff right under my name there.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for 3.5 hours. I promise next time we won't go as long. And let me know about your live streams. And I know I'm full of it.
Yeah, I think we'll try to set one up for for not next week, week after.
Yeah. Well, we'll
maybe that Saturday we can set one up and just do like a year in review where we just talk about.
I would love to do it because I want to do that with the podcast here, and I'll definitely do more research before I do that. So in some way, I'm gonna do that here as well. I feel like I miss doing it. I didn't even celebrate the anniversary of my podcast this year, so the 9th year. So I need to get back into that. So let me know what's up this week or next week coming or whatever. And thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that watched.
Thank you for having me.
And whoever sees this on the replay.
Yes, thanks for the one person who watched live for a couple of hours.
There were 2.
Oh, there were 2. Okay.
For a while.
I think one of those might have been me. I put it on to.
Well, I hope one of those wasn't me then.
So I could look at the stuff. Don't forget to go back in and add all the title information.
I'll do all that. Yeah.
And all that.
I don't know if I'll get it tonight, to be honest, but I will.
Oh, no, I wouldn't worry about it tonight. Just worry about it tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank y'all, everybody, for listening. And this has been a live stream of Geek Homeworld. And I guess I'll roll my outro. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld with your host, Ciucevich TechMan. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+. Follow and interact with us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes and leave a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, read our thoughts on Blogger. See you again on the Geek Homeworld. Okay, we're still on the live stream. So is there something you wanted to add? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I was just going to say, remember that views is what grows everything. Like, share, subscribe, comment, ding the bell, and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Yeah, there we go. Like, share, subscribe, ding that bell. All right. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Ending stream. Stream is good.
The stream has ended.
The stream has ended.
Don't cross the streams.